or you're on the way to the top of your leaderboard, bring your strategy to your trades in real time. Get started by downloading the Webull app today or visiting Webull.com. Event contract trading is speculative and may not be suitable for all investors. Customers should carefully consider the associated risk before investing. Visit Webull.com/disclosures.
Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil, plus Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, Sublime, Danny Elfman, Baby Metal, Public Enemy, Circa Survive, and so many more. 4 days, 135 plus bands, 5 stages. Aftershock takes over Discovery Park October 1st through 4th. My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil. All 4-day, single day, and premium passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down. Get yours at AftershockFestival.com.
Get the best. Bridgestone tires are engineered to keep your world moving, and that's what really matters. Now through March 31st, buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires and get $80 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. For the best selection in Bridgestone tires, get to Expert Tires and Brakes at 5810 Auburn Boulevard. Expert Tires and Brakes. Save big and get their 60-minute install guarantee. Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard. That's Expert Tires and Brakes.
This is Kurt Bagelman. Does your business need more customers? If you said no, congratulations. If you said yes, then you need to consider advertising your products and services. People need to know you exist, and then why your business is worth considering to spend their money with. You also need to advertise to the right audience. For example, sports talk listeners have disposable income. They own homes, they're employed, and they earn 6-figure incomes. And importantly, sports talk listeners listen longer, so your advertising message has more opportunity to be heard. Does your business need more customers? If the answer is yes, then give me a call to schedule a conversation. Discuss your objectives, talk about strategies, and also determine if Fox Sports Radio is a good station for you to consider. Call me, 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
If you've been shocked by your utility bills, fix it with 10-10-20 from Sierra Pacific. 10 years parts and labor warranty, 10 years to pay, and 20% off a new Sierra Pacific comfort system. Plus, this system will get SMUD customers a $3,000 rebate. Lock in the best price of the year on the best option for heating and cooling your home. 10-10-20 only from Sierra Pacific.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento.
Sacktown.
And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been?
You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
Time to begin.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
And a good afternoon, everybody. Don't tell me you didn't have anything good to watch this past weekend. Don't tell me. What a weekend. Really. And everyone's talking about the Duke-UConn game. How about the Gary Woodland story? Right? I mean, we had everything this weekend. The Kings are not on my list, by the way. No. Can't do it. Can't do it. Baseball. Horrible start for the A's and the Giants. The A's struck out 50 times in a 3-game set, getting swept at Toronto. 50. Tony Vitello, the new skipper of the Giants, already under heat. They move on to take on San Diego. But everybody talking about Duke and UConn, and why not? I think that a lot of fans forget that games are played by human beings. And it's easy to sit back and go, gee, I can't believe they didn't do this. I can't believe they're doing that. You're playing in front of, 50,000 people? Well, maybe not 50, but you're playing in front. That will be this weekend. I beg your pardon. This weekend, you'll be playing in front of 50,000 people. You're playing in front of an incredible environment. There's a lot of emotion. You're young. You're prone to making mistakes. That's why we watch sport. We watch sport for the unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. Let's relive the drama. The crew on CBS, led by the versatile veteran Ian Eagle.
1 out of 2. 72-70. Duke, 10 seconds to go.
Got to cut and run through the ball, and who's better than this guy?
Get it into Boozer, back for Sarr, ahead, Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds, Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good! With point 3, UConn goes in front.
Utterly impossible.
March means drama.
The deflection, the reaction, and then the major legends out of Indiana. They all can shoot. Nylon from deep. Astounding.
I mean, it really was unbelievable. And I'll tell you what else was unbelievable. And we'll relive the moment from both the Duke and the UConn perspectives as their local radio. And then we're going to hear from Boozer, who I got to tell you, I got to take my hat off to this young man. He answered every question in what had to be the most difficult moment of his life without even knowing anything about his life. And I thought Caden Boozer handled that incredibly well based on what just happened. I thought he handled it incredibly well. Why don't we relive the way it sounded for the Duke fans listening via Duke Radio?
They do for Boozer. Bobbled it back for Sarr. Needs to get rid of it. Does for Caden. 7 seconds. Trying to throw it ahead. Deflected. Stolen by Connecticut. 2 seconds. It's Mullins up top for the win. Oh, he hit it. With 0.3 of a second to go. Malachi Smith ran off the bench. That should be a technical. But with 0.3 of a second to go, Connecticut has the lead 73-72. As Connecticut got the 3 from Mullins after the turnover from Caden Boozer.
All right, and then here is the way it sounded for the Huskies fans on the UConn radio network.
So they double him. Back to Sarr. Now ahead to Caden Boozer. And a steal. Mullins gets it. It's Caravan to Mullins. Long range three. Oh! It went in! Mullins delivers. Bedlam here.
They're going to go to the monitor to review it.
Absolute bedlam as Mullins threw a 45-footer in.
All right, so that was UConn radio. As I said after the game, I thought that Caden Boozer handled this about as well as you could. And we are in an era where athletes seemingly more too often than not, for my liking, blow off the media after tough moments. Can't have that. A lot of class. I got to tell you, it showed me a lot about Caden Boozer with the way he handled his comments after the game.
Obviously a lot of emotions right now. Just kind of what was going through your mind in that last pass, and can you just walk us through what happened?
I turned the ball over. Should have been strong with the ball. Cost our team our season.
What did Coach Shire say before in that timeout, before you guys were inbounding the ball there?
Just that we knew that they were going to try. Just be strong with the ball.
How would you describe kind of what led to giving up the lead in the second half as a team?
I mean, we didn't have our competitive edge. We were guarding them pretty well in the first half. We didn't do the best job of it, but at the end of the day, I'm sticking with our guys no matter what. And we had a chance to win regardless of what happened in the second half. And it's a tough game.
What can you say about just how close you guys are as a program? I mean, 3 losses by 5 points total, 2 at the buzzer. Last year, obviously, really close to winning the title. Can you speak to a little bit just how close you guys are, trying to put that in perspective? Obviously, not close enough.
I mean, it's hard to put it in perspective right now, but I mean, this is the best time I've had playing basketball. The group of guys that we have, I'm really grateful for the moment. Obviously, we didn't get the job done, but I'm super grateful for this team and everything that we're able to accomplish this year.
Thanks, Gabe.
Incredibly classy for that moment, based on the fact that the ball was in his hands when he tried to throw it down the floor and it led to the turnover. Really classy. Maybe not even classy is the right word. It's just there's a right way and a wrong way to handle yourself. And when we see the A.J. Browns of the world and the DJ Moores of the world after playoff losses blow off the media, it's very refreshing to me to see a collegiate player handle himself with the grace and the poise of Boozer. That's something. I don't know about you, but that resonates with me. That really says a lot to me about an individual's character. And again, I can't even imagine, okay? I can't even imagine a guy sitting in his locker after the game having to deal with the media, and he answered every question sitting right in front of his locker. That's pretty amazing for an individual of that age, with the magnitude of that moment and what it all meant. Hats off. Hats off. And congratulations to the Stojakovic family. If you watch the Illinois victory, and Stojakovic really playing so well in that game, and his dad, Peja, and the family in the stands, that's great stuff. Great stuff. On to the Final Four for Illinois. So we'll talk about the Final Four, obviously, as we get through the week. We've got the baseball story. Again, the A's, who now go to Atlanta for a 3-game set. Then they come home for their opener on Friday against Houston. It's only Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then they're right back out on the East Coast. But that was a tough weekend with 50 strikeouts. And the Giants, meanwhile, listen, Tony Vitello is already under heat for the skipper of the Giants, who obviously came right from the college ranks. And I think it's obviously a little premature. You know, the Yankees are a good team. That's number one. Number two, Vitello can't go up there and swing the bats for the guys. You know, it's not his fault that they only scored one run. You know, I mean, you can't put that on the manager. I'm sorry. You can't put that on the manager. A lot of people are upset about his comment on Fox on Saturday in the middle of the game where he said, I can't talk down to guys anymore. You know what? Why would people have a problem with that? I understand exactly what he was trying to say. And then after game 2, you know, I think there were a couple of pitchers, a couple of players that didn't agree with his comments that they're pressing and trying too hard, blah, blah, blah. You know, again, when you have no major league experience, you're going to get second guessed. And when I mean no major league experience, you know what I'm talking about. When you have not been a big league manager before and you're coming out of college, every little thing you do is going to be under the microscope. Everything you do is going to be dissected. And it doesn't help that they are in a series to open up against the Yankees, okay? And here's the other deal. Now you go to San Diego. Now, I would say one thing, okay? If you go to San Diego and you don't win some games, then Vitello is going to be under heat that he may not be able. He might be under a rock that's too big for him to crawl out from under. I know it's 162 games, and I get that. But here's the problem in the NL West. While you're losing 3, the Dodgers are winning 3. And if you spot the Dodgers early, 7, 8, 9 games, you're not catching them. I'm sorry, they're too good. So I know it's March. I get that. And I'm well aware the season is in its infancy, hours old, relatively speaking. But if you were going to spot the Dodgers, if you have a bad weekend in San Diego and the Dodgers keep doing their thing, you might be already buried before the season gets warmed up. And I don't mean buried where you can't make the playoffs. I'm talking about the realistic chance of trying to win a division. And I'm well aware of all the head-to-head matchups and everything else, but I'm sorry. You look at the Dodgers team and you put that roster next to the Giants roster, and what do you have? Thank you. I don't even need to go over it, okay? I think the Giants got a pretty good club. And there's no reason to panic yet, but if you have a bad series coming up against San Diego, and the Dodgers, who are at home against Cleveland, keep winning, and you are going to be down, you know, spot this Dodgers team that many games in the first week or two of the season, that's not good for Tony Vitello and the Giants. This is a very, very important series coming up within the division now against San Diego, who also, I think, along with the Diamondbacks in that NL West, feel like that they have a chance to be in the postseason. I mean, everybody else in that division off to a bad start. Padres lost 2 of 3. Diamondbacks got swept. The Rockies got swept. The Giants got swept. But you only score 1 run in 3 games. Meanwhile, you have the A's, who struck out 50 times to Toronto. And they're the only team in the AL West without a win. Texas is 2-1. The Angels, the Astros, and the M's, all 2-2. And the A's with 0-3. Again, it's 162 games. I'm not going to lose sleep over this. But I'm looking at the Giants, and I'm looking at the Dodgers, and I'm looking at the rosters. Just be careful, Tony Vitello. Be careful. Let's get to Mac right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hi, Mac.
Hey, I wanted to talk briefly about the firing of Bruce Cassidy and the bringing in of Torts.
Yep,
First
John
of all,
Tortorella. Yep.
I don't know. Look, I think, first of all, I think I didn't like the move. I've heard why they explained it. But when you bring in a guy like Torts, who, one, he does wear out his welcome, kind of like a Jim Harbaugh. But you bring in a guy like Torch, you kind of got to change your game. Like, for example, a Darryl Sutter. He would always he would ask his players to play a heavy game. So you'd have an Owen Nolan on there. He always had a Jerome McGinley, Dustin Brown. I don't see where this Vegas team is going to be able to it's going to just flip. I mean, you got coach killers like Mitch Marner on there who can't get along with like Babcock, and you're going to think that he's going to just start playing heavy. I don't know if that's going to really work, and I don't know how this works for them long term unless you're going to go in a complete new direction. And also you look at this team's only been, this franchise has had great coaching, and they've only been around since 2017, 2018. They're on 4 coaches. It's kind of like, I don't know if this provides a bad reputation, but if this Tortorella move doesn't really work, quick question, could you now become a slippery slope of not getting high quality coaches?
No, you're always going to get high quality coaches. No. You're always going to get high quality coaches because you're playing for the Stanley Cup every year. And I think other than 1 year with injuries, they've been in the playoffs every year, and they go deep into the playoffs a lot of the years, and they've already been to 2 Stanley Cups and won 1. That's number one. I think the only difference you'll see on the ice is Cassidy likes to get his defense into scoring. And I think with how many goals Vegas has been giving up, particularly with their poor goaltending as of late, I think Tortorella will not have his defensemen rush as much. I think he's going to have his defensemen playing defense, which will tighten up that end of the ice. Here's the deal. Sometimes you need a different voice in a locker room. And as far as you saying Torts, wearing out his welcome, they're not worried about that. There's only 8 games left in the regular season, and then hopefully the playoffs. They'll address that in the offseason. They wanted a different voice in the room. They're getting a different voice in the room. I think what really hurt Vegas, they had 9 guys playing in the Olympics, and since the Olympics, they have been a slumping team. They have not played well. They have not been competitive other than one come-from-behind game on the road against, I think it was either Detroit. I think it was Detroit. They've lost shootouts after not being able to score in overtime, the last being on Sunday night against Washington. They played tonight. It will be the first game for Tortorella. I just think it's a different voice in the room. I think it's a wake-up call for all of the players in that room, and we'll see if it works or not. Time will tell.
Where do you think this goes long term, or do you?
I know Vegas. The president of operations is my best friend. They don't think long term. Yeah. They're not a long term. He's a today guy. He is. What are we going to do today? He's not worried about 2 years from now or 3 years from now. They are very much hands on. They try to win every year. That should have been, that was pretty well understood when they built a team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals on their first year. George thinks about today and winning today. And when I say George, I don't want to dismiss Kelly McCrimmon, the team's general manager, but George is the president of hockey operations. And so, George has to put his stamp on this. But I know how he thinks, and they're about today. How can they feel they have a roster? They feel they have a roster good enough to compete for the cup, and I do too. I don't think their goaltending right now has been good enough, but that can change in an instant. We already know Hill can win a cup because he won a cup 2 years ago or 3 seasons ago. So he was in nets. We know he can do it, but they feel they can win the cup this year. That's why they made this move.
Can I have one last question about the move with Torts. Do you think that that he can get guys? So guys like Tomas Hertl, he's a big body. He does play tough, but he doesn't play heavy. He doesn't play, he could use a little bit more of a North American style game. Do you think that Tortorella will get a guy like him who is a big body to maybe throw his weight around a little bit?
I don't know. John Tortorella's been around the block a couple of times. It's not like the guy's going to come in and doesn't know what he's doing. Guy's had a lot of success in the NHL. He's still very involved in the game. He was with Philadelphia last year coaching. He was at the Olympics. I mean, it's not like the guy's out of touch. So time will tell. We'll see, Mac.
Okay. Take it easy. Have a good rest of your day.
Hey, thank you. You too. I appreciate the phone call. Ryan, can you bet? Can you make plays on Prize Picks on hockey or not?
Yeah, of course you can. You can.
Okay, I'm just asking because, I know that you have, been pretty much sticking to basketball with a little nuance here and there with some baseball. But I was just wondering. If hockey, like maybe you work on the basketball part, I'll work on the hockey part, and then we'll retire.
Hey, I'm open for that. I actually got in on the action with Prize Picks during the hockey playoffs last season. So we will be talking. But to your point, over 100 different sports that you can choose from on America's #1 daily fantasy site, Prize Picks. We talk about winning, but we never talk about getting your funds. Prize Picks makes withdrawals super fast and secure. In my case, I get the withdrawals the same day. They're instant. Prize Picks accepts most major payments methods, making deposits to your account. Like I said, easy all season long. It's super simple. All you do, pick 2 to 6 players, choose more or less on their stat projections, and that's it. You can decide your tolerance for risk. You can do a flex play, which means one of your players might not hit their stat projection, but you still get paid, or you can do the power play where everybody's got to hit. Make it your way. Find your community. Join your community. Download the Prize Picks app today using the code RYNO50, RYNO50, to get $50 in free play after you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, $50 in free play using the code RYNO50. Prize Picks. It's good to be right, Napes.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I don't think Jaden Ivey is loving life right now. He was waived today by the Bulls. You have to wonder what's going through his mind. We'll talk about that when we come back, plus your phone calls at 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929 right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil, plus Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, Sublime, Danny Elfman, Baby Metal, Public Enemy, Circa Survive, and so many more. 4 days, 135 plus bands, 5 stages. Aftershock takes over Discovery Park October 1st through 4th. My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil. All 4-day, single day, and premium passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down. Get yours at AftershockFestival.com.
Hey, folks, are you or do you know a veteran or family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? I've got awesome news because DAS Mechanical is giving back by donating one to a veteran or family in need. Owner Nick Delancey and his family, hey, they're always looking to give back to the community, and they're excited to help out a veteran or family in need. Just go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or, hey, someone you know to receive one. And yes, it comes with installation. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family-owned, locally owned, HVAC experts, serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Scott Pollard on the show today at 5 o'clock, right after Grant's rant. We're going to talk the weekend of college basketball, some of the top players that will be available in the draft come June. Gary Woodland's incredible weekend. What a journey he's been on to win on the PGA Tour again. Rhino, I want to take you in to this conversation. As far as Boozer goes, I thought he handled himself incredibly well after the game in a tough moment.
Couldn't have done it any better, to be honest with you, and something he didn't have to do. He wasn't one of the players that was asked to come to the podium. One thing that I have not heard about this entire thing that I think should be brought up is somebody that played the point guard position. You have an internal clock in your head, right? You know that you have 10 seconds to get the basketball across half court. That ball, and mind you, those seconds must have felt like an eternity, but that ball didn't come straight to him. It swung around, and I've got to think that was something that was in his head, or at least a consideration that would have been in my head about, oh my gosh, if they're going to tie me up, is this going to be 3-4 seconds? Can they get a backcourt violation? And, you know, so I've heard all the reasons why he shouldn't have passed it. That's a reason why he probably was looking to forward the ball as well.
And again, you can talk about internal clocks in your head, and I agree with you and everything else. And it's easy to sit where we are and make all of these assumptions. But in the middle of the game and everything that is associated with that, I mean, if you really want to get down to it, all the Duke player had to do in the backcourt was hold on to the ball. They were getting ready to foul.
Right.
Okay. They also had a timeout that they could have used. I mean, there were a lot of other things that could have happened before Boozer even got the ball that didn't happen.
Exactly right. And I thought John Shire said it beautifully. It doesn't come down to one play, or it should never come down to one play. It's our fault for letting, that play be the one that signifies the game, when in reality, it was many missed plays that led up to that. And I'm not sure, did you know which way the possession arrow was? Because that could have played into the mindset too. Because if they tied the ball up, it could have been going to UConn.
I believe, from just the talk after the game and some of the things that I've seen on social media, is I believe that the possession arrow was UConn's, just based on all of the comments I've heard about what they should have done in that situation.
Yeah. So there you go. It wasn't as simple of a situation as a lot of people from their couches think it was for Caden.
And I may be wrong. It may have been Duke's possession arrow, which would have factored in. But again, you also had, again, think about this, Ryan. You also had a timeout to use. And in that situation, if let's just say Boozer calls a timeout, hypothetically.
Sure.
And you inbound the ball, all you need to do, even if you can't inbound the ball to a teammate, is throw the ball down to the other end of the floor under the basket. And even if UConn gets the ball, there wouldn't be enough time to advance the ball and get a shot off. I mean, like there are all types of things that could have been done that weren't done. And again, it's what makes sports beautiful.
It exactly is. Not if you're Duke, though, second year in a row that you are not able to close it out in the national championship. And then in this case, the Elite Eight. You know, what's funny. I have somebody that I talk to commonly that played in the NBA. And you know what they said all the time? And they tell me, it actually texted me last night, throw the ball in the air.
Yes.
Throw the ball in the air.
As long as it doesn't hit the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And I really mean that. Throw the ball in the air. You're right. And the game's over. I mean, if he had just gotten the ball and thrown it up over, I mean, if again, right. We're not there on the floor. It's things happen in the spur of the moment that no matter what was said during the timeout and everything else, it's still the human emotions and the human brain. It's still, we can't put ourselves in Boozer's shoes or anybody else on the floor.
No, it's Like you said, it's the beauty of sports. That's a script that you cannot write, both for Duke and even UConn. What about that shot? If that shot was taken in the 90s, this would have been twice the deal that it is, because now a logo shot's just, a shot from the logo. But I mean, to be able to hit that in that situation, incredible stuff.
It was incredible. All right, so Jaden Ivey, who was traded, right, to Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on with him, after the weekend of Gary Woodland, and we've heard so much about mental health, what he went through with his brain surgery, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. I don't know Jaden Ivey. I've never talked to Jaden Ivey, but he's obviously a disturbed, and I use the term disturbed not in a bad way, because disturbed can not always be bad. I think there are some things that are going on in his life that I'm not qualified to talk about.
Yeah.
Where he's not basically making the best judgments in how he's handling things, if I can be gentle about this. He was released today by the Chicago Bulls. He was waived. Okay? And he's been doing a lot of videos on Instagram, then he deletes his post. But he went off on a long Instagram post as it relates to Pride Month. Okay? And obviously in the United States of America, even in 2026, okay, when you make comments such as the comments that he made, regardless of whether you agree or disagree, there is the world of political correctness that we live in. There is a world of ramifications. I shouldn't even say world. I should just say the United States, because it doesn't seem like there's this issue in a lot of other places in the world. In the United States, there are ramifications, right or wrong. And after I've reviewed his social media post, I don't know what to say, Ryan, about his whereabouts mentally. But like with Tiger Woods, who's been now involved in extreme, alarming accidents more than once. And we talk about decision-making, right?
Yeah.
Whether the decision-making is being altered by drugs or not, you still have to make a decision, whether it's medically prescribed by a doctor. You still have to make a decision to put that in your body, right? So really, everything ultimately comes down to decisions. People say, well, if you're an addict, well, how did you become an addict, right? So like everything
really
has...
really
Go
quick,
ahead.
though. I think
Yeah.
that decision is a little bit nuanced because many people trust their medical professionals. And
That's true.
if a medical professional is telling you this is in your best interest, it's easy to, I don't want to say convince yourself, but take that liability off of your decision making because you're following a doctor's order.
Okay. I don't disagree with that. And I'm not qualified to get into how that affects an individual's decision-making as it pertains whether to drive or not.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
What I am saying is, I think that we can all, regardless of what caused Tiger Woods to walk out of his house with his door open, get in his car, drive carelessly to a point where his car ends up on its side, regardless of what caused all of that, I think we can all agree, based on his past, that he has some issues that need to be dealt with before he can even think about returning to professional golf. Can we agree on that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when I look at some of Jaden Ivey's social media posts, all right, and some other things from people that have been around him, I'm saying to myself, this young man needs some help. Okay, that's my observation from where I'm at. I don't really have a problem with someone voicing their opinion on how they feel about Pride Month or any other social issue. I'm okay with that. I really am. I think that the biggest problem in our society is we don't have the patience to listen to other people's point of views, whether we agree or don't. We don't have, too many of us don't have the patience because we're so set in our ways that we don't even want to hear somebody else's opinion if it's different than ours. So that doesn't really bother me as much. I go back to decision making. Jaden Ivey's decision making on a it's a pattern of behavior that to me is alarming. And now he's out of work. And quite frankly, Ryan, I don't see anybody in the NBA giving him a job anytime soon. Do you?
No, not for the rest of the season. At the very least, probably a guy, if he's going to get a chance, is going to have to work his way through the G League, like many others. Some things that I think about when I look at it, and let's take the context and the statements of what he said out of it. Let's just say he said something controversial. If you look at what you're laying out, the social posts, you look at the lack of attention he's getting on the court by the Chicago Bulls. He has not played since I can't see minutes. He's had DNPs since I checked, March 10th. It probably goes longer than that. You just wonder if it's that I need attention kind of stuff, when you're posting. Here's the bottom line. What I really want to get to is he is getting killed. He's at his lowest moment right now. And everybody always talks about, or professionals talk about, their leagues being fraternities. There's been many players that have stepped up and, voiced their stories with mental health. And I really hope there's part of that fraternity behind the scenes that's embracing this young man, somebody that's made a mistake like that, can help him through whatever he's going through. And he's open to getting that, because in Tiger Woods' case, if you look at the reports on TMZ, he is completely closed off to having a private driver because of privacy concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And the Secret Service is driving his kids to school, as opposed to him being allowed to drive his kids. And it looks like that's a one-way street right now. And for somebody as beloved as him, to be ignoring that, it's really hard to look at.
And if you've noticed, for the first time, critics are starting to really come out and hammer Tiger Woods for his behavior, which he's always had a shield around him. All right. He's had that like Teflon shield, whatever you want to call it. He's always been protected. And now even players on the tour for the first time are coming out saying he needs to be suspended and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So we'll talk more about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to put a cap on it, he knew this process, right? He's been advised of what to do and what not to do in these situations. It's not a coincidence that he didn't give a urine sample. This DUI, if you look at many legal analysts, will likely go away. But unlike in the past where these situations went away legally for him, this does not seem to be going away publicly.
That's a great point. Great point. Hey, I want to talk to you about Village Financial Group. We talk about real estate. We talk about whether you're buying a home, selling a home. A lot of people right now are looking at a home equity line of credits. Spence can do it all. He is the broker and owner of Village Financial Group, began his business in 2000. I've known Spence since 2000, and I can vouch for this man in every single aspect, both professionally and when it has nothing to do with real estate. He's a Class A individual. He's experienced. He is very creative when it comes to financing. He's actually a financing specialist. He has access to private money. Call or text Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. You can also go to their website, vfgloans.com. That's vfgloans.com. And you can look at thousands of available listings for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence. at 916-805-4868 and find out about Village Financial Group and their white glove boutique style service from the start line to the finish line. Spence will do it all for you. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Hey, give me a call. Text the show. We've got a lot to talk about. Scott Pollard at 5 o'clock, right after Grant's Rant today. 916-779-0929 on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Get the best. Bridgestone tires are engineered to keep your world moving, and that's what really matters. Now through March 31st, buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires and get $80 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. For the best selection in Bridgestone tires, get to Express Tires at 7215 Watt Avenue in Sacramento. Express Tires. Save big and get their 60-minute install guarantee. Get to Express Tires at 7215 Watt Avenue now. Express Tires.
Just outside of Sacramento is a place where families build friendships that last a lifetime. The Golden State Shooting Center is a clay target shooting facility. It's the home of numerous local high school and youth sport shooting teams. Skeet and trap shooting is a safe, exhilarating sport. School team members can compete for numerous college scholarship opportunities. Teams are being formed now, and new members are welcome. Call the Golden State Shooting Center for details or visit them online at goldenstateshootingcenter.com.
Pros, just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability. Restrictions and terms at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
From our text line at 916-779-0929. Hey, Grant, I know G League basketball isn't talked about on your show. Well, it is talked about on our show, but thank you for that. But I want to give a shout-out to the Stockton Kings hosting a playoff game this Wednesday against the Iowa Wolves. Fans should go to support them. Tickets are cheap, and they're more fun to watch than the Sacramento Kings. Will Ryan be there? I'll ask Ryan right now. Will you be there?
Yes, I will. 100% on Wednesday night. Looking forward to it. Incredible.
And by the way, I'd rather watch them play than the Kings too, to be quite honest with you.
I talked about them as much as I did the Kings last night on the post-game show. If you want to see great basketball, go down there. Daquan Jeffries will be back with them. I would not be surprised if Daquan Plowden ends up down there if they progress through the playoffs. But what they've done, what Gabriel Harris, their GM, has done over the last 3 years with 3 separate head coaches is nothing short of incredible. And we know about the player development that's happening. I mean, for a G League team to spit out as many undrafted players as they have, that's pretty cool. Because what you don't see, Grant, ever is somebody go from the G League to being a complete star. You see role players, and that's the equivalent. So credit to Stockton. Go get another championship.
Okay, so speaking of one player, because we've talked a lot about Keon Ellis, he's not here anymore, and there are other players that have followed in his footsteps. What do you attribute Dylan Cardwell's lack of pre-injury to? Just the time off? Is there more to it? Is it that there aren't as good of players on the floor next to him? Like, what do you say if I ask you, tell me about Dylan Cardwell post-injury coming back? What's the difference in him?
He doesn't trust his ankle. His game is based off of explosiveness, obviously, at the rim, playing above the rim on offense. I think that ankle was sprained pretty badly. You saw how much time he missed. And for a guy like that, and especially a guy that's young like that, he's got to go through this. I mean, look at Keegan Murray. He didn't always look like he was trusting his ankle in that short time that he came back. So I think that's really what it comes down to.
What do you think his position, or let me rephrase that, because I've been getting a lot of messages about this and I want to get your take. Do you think his position, status, the way the organization views him has changed in his absence and with the way some of the other players have performed?
Maybe. It depends on the organization's view of Precious Achiuwa. Yep. And whether they feel like he is a piece we are going to pursue at whatever level we can. But Grant, I wouldn't mind. I honestly would not mind Keegan being made to feel a little bit uncomfortable in his position. That's not happened in the last couple years because you haven't had anybody like Keegan that can play against the other team's best player night in and night out. But, yeah, I would like to see a little bit of push there.
All right, 916. Go ahead, 916-779-0929. One game left on this road trip Wednesday in Toronto. So I guess that means Jerry and yours, me and Jerry will handle the post game, right? You'll be at the Stockton game?
Yeah, but I might be able to do it from Stockton.
Okay.
Might be able to pull that off.
All right. I'm just so discouraged with the NBA right now. Probably the lowest that I've been since the 70s. And I'm talking about the late 70s with the drug scandal before Magic and Bird came in. I'm as down on the NBA now as I've ever been. And I'm down on it, not because of the Kings, although that's part of it. I'm down on it the way the game is played. I'm down on it for all the negativity that's constantly talked about. I'm down on it because I think the commissioner of the NBA is spineless. I'm down on it because whereas we are talking about how great the NCAA tournament's been, although in all fairness, it's normally that way every year. We're not talking about the games that are on the court in the NBA enough. And we have players that are in studio shows, Ryan, from coast to coast, that are former players, ripping the game. We have players during the All-Star break ripping the game. Like, there's so much negativity in terms of the way the game is perceived from so many people. It's just, what's it going to take to get it back on track? The way the game is played, the way the players are not playing. Oh, well, we need more time off. Oh, Steve Kerr, we need to go to a 72-game season. Gee, it's not fair that we have to play a minimum of 65 games now because Cade Cunningham may not be able to qualify for the MVP. Like, it's just negative, 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 instead of talking about some of the great things, Ryan, that are on the floor.
Grant, compare and contrast what you've seen in the Sweet 16 compared to what you see in the NBA. They look like two separate basketball games.
Yeah.
Completely separate. What it's going to take is SGA, Anthony Edwards, Steph Castle, Chet Holmgren to fall in line, and they very well may already be there with Wemby, because Wemby's approach is really the only kryptonite that I can see right now that can save this game, because LeBron and many of the other older vets have taken it way to the other side.
Well, and Steph and LeBron aren't going to be playing for much longer.
Right.
And so you think about a league without LeBron James and without Steph Curry, Wemby's definitely going to be carrying the torch. But it would be great, and I don't say this in a negative way, because Nikola Jokic is great. It would be great to have an American-born player grab a torch, right? And along with Wembanyama,
sure,
along with SGA, along with Nikola Jokic, be able to hold on to that torch and say, hey, I'm the same as you all are, but they're not yet, right? I mean, let's just call it the way it is.
Let me give you one. Devin Booker. Devin Booker could be that guy. If Phoenix continues to have success, he's a guy that's played through injuries. And heck, Zach, I know you're not going to like this, De'Aaron Fox as well. If he's going to be playing alongside Wemby, he's
always going to be overshadowed.
He will be overshadowed.
Always.
Okay, but a Scottie Pippen to a Michael Jordan is
great point. But is that Stephon Castle?
Eventually, yes.
Could it be Harper on that team? Look at how good he is.
I think it's Steph Castle.
Okay.
100% Steph
Fair
Castle.
Enough.
His size, everything about his game. But no, Scottie Pippen is viewed as so much bigger than a Mitch Richmond, right? Because they played in the big games.
Could it be Con Knipple? Could it be Cooper Flegg? Do they have that ability?
Coop is unknown to me, and I don't think Con is ever going to be that star.
What do you mean unknown? In what way? Explain that.
Because Dallas, a typical rookie like him, will have some other players around him. He's had nobody around him. Name me one rookie besides LeBron James off the top of your head that you can remember teams game planning for as the number one guy walking into their first game. And he's had that this entire season.
I don't disagree with that. There would be very few. And part of the reason is when LeBron came into the league, he pretty much had an NBA body. You know who reminded me of that? And you didn't game plan for him, but Amari Stoudemire, when he came into the league, was like that. You had to account for Amari. I wouldn't say, Ryan, that you had to completely game plan around, but he was somebody that was he was a focal point of your scouting report, okay, as a teenager coming into the league. I don't remember Moses Malone when he came in and the impact that he had, so I can't go back that far. But, yeah, it's been few and far between, correct?
Yes. You could say Wemby, but with the inconsistency of what he's played, all I know is your best case scenario for the NBA is to see a guy like Wemby in the playoffs go up against one of the other guys like LeBron and watch Wemby take that torch, not pass the torch and receive it, take the torch from them.
916-779-0929. Scott Pollard in a little more than an hour from right now, right after Grant Swant. We've got so much that we're talking about. The Gary Woodland story this weekend on the PGA Tour is about as good as it gets. If you want to just talk about a feel-good story, if you want to talk about an individual in a individual sport whose success or failure really depends on looking in the mirror and everything that he's gone through in his battle following surgery with PTSD. And man, that was quite a scene yesterday when he won a PGA event. What was it, 30 months ago? We had brain surgery. What a great story. We'll talk about that next and everything else that's going on. Wow. What a Monday right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
This is Kurt Bagelman. Does your business need more customers? If you said no, congratulations. If you said yes, then you need to consider advertising your products and services. People need to know you exist, and then why your business is worth considering to spend their money with. You also need to advertise to the right audience. For example, Sports Talk listeners have disposable income. They own homes, they're employed, and they earn six-figure incomes. And importantly, Sports Talk listeners listen longer, so your advertising message has more opportunity to be heard. Does your business need more customers? If the answer is yes, then give me a call to schedule a conversation. We'll discuss your objectives, talk about potential strategies, and also determine if Fox Sports Radio is a good station for you to consider. Call me, 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
If you love the game of golf and you want to get better at playing the game, your journey to golfing excellence starts by visiting par18golf.com. Par 18 Golf is a cutting-edge golf performance and training center located inside the historic Nimbus Winery in Rancho Cordova. Par 18 Golf trains with TrackMan Performance Systems, the very same system that PGA tournament professionals use to perfect their game. TrackMan indoor practice bays utilize Doppler radar and high-speed cameras that capture every motion and tiny aspect of your swing, from your posture and stance to the angle and trajectory of the ball and its distance and speed. Whether you're sharpening your short game, dialing in driver distance, or preparing for a summer tournament, visit par18golf.com. Book your first visit and get ready to train like PGA pros. You'll play smarter, perform better, and compete with an entirely new level of confidence. Go to par18golf.com and see the future of golf performance.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. But prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 2, Grant Napear, Fox Sports Sacramento, 916-779-0929. In 2023, Gary Woodland, PGA golfer, former U.S. Open champion, had brain surgery to remove a lesion pressing on his brain. Earlier this year, he came out publicly and said that he was diagnosed with PTSD about a year ago. Yesterday, he won the Houston Open. It was his first win since the 2019 U.S. Open. You know, it kind of got lost in the world of college basketball. But if you really want to get down to human interest stories, if you want to talk about rooting for somebody, if we're talking about rooting for Tiger Woods or Jaden Ivey or anyone else that's dealing with stuff, and I'm not saying you have to root for them, I'm just using them as an example. Here's a guy that you can root for, right? Here's somebody that has worn his emotions on his sleeve, talks about breaking down in the middle of a golf tournament, talking about the demons that he's had to deal with, being an inspiration. Yesterday, while he was being interviewed on the 18th green after winning for the first time since 2019, he basically said, you know, I'm hoping that you look at me and you look at what I've done, and I hope I inspire you that you shouldn't give up, and that whatever you're facing, whatever demons, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, you can do the same thing. How great was that story yesterday on the PGA Tour? That was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. I love these types of stories. The walk down the 18th, the putt, the embrace with his wife and caddy, the raw emotion on the 18th green was unbelievable. And again, this is somebody that the fans have rooted for, have cheered for. He's been a fan favorite. That was an incredible story where he's been and what he still deals with. And he was very open about that. He was asked if, you know, about this being the impetus for kind of moving on. And he goes, no, this is just another day for me. Good day, but just another day. But a real inspiration to maybe those that are going through a similar situation in their life. It was incredible. It was incredible. Somebody said almost all of us have all gone through medical issues at some point, but what Gary Woodland has done, ... thumbs up. Ryan, I don't know if you saw that. I caught the tail end of that, and it was quite an emotional scene. Hard not to root for Gary Woodland.
100%. And I don't think that it's irony that he came out in an interview 2 weeks ago with Golf Channel talking about some of this stuff. Quote, I appreciate that love and support, but inside I feel like I'm dying. I feel like I'm living a lie. He said in the interview, I want to live my dreams and be successful out here, but I want to help people too. I realize now first I have to help myself. And then earlier this week, when asked about it, he said he feels like he's 1,000 pounds lighter. Think about riding into that tournament with that strength. And just to put even more context to it, an amazing moment.
And I can't even imagine what the back nine would have been like for him with everything going through his mind, knowing that he hasn't won on tour since 2019. And the fans, you see, that's the other aspect of this. Like, even if you want to stay in your own cocoon, right? And you want to be in your own little element, the fans, right? Like, and by the way, the fans in an inspirational way, but I mean, like, dealing with all of that as you're walking down the 18th and everything else, it kind of reminded me a little bit about Rory McIlroy last year, who faltered with basically a shank, for lack of a better term. It wasn't technically a shank where the ball went on a 90-degree angle to the right, but on a perfect drive on the 18th, Ryan.
Yeah.
All he had to do was make par. He hit it into the bunker, ended up making bogey, and was in a playoff with Rose. And if a man was ever going to crumble, it would have been right there on the first playoff hole, right?
Yeah.
And yet he ends up winning in the first playoff hole.
I think what you just said says it all, why it didn't shake him. After winning the tournament, it was a good day. You know, it's perspective about what he's been through. DeMar DeRozan, who wrote his book about his struggles with depression, has talked about it's not like the struggle's over. It's still a daily battle. It's an everyday thing. And so I just think when you've gone through something like that, whether it be medical hardship, etc., addiction, it changes things.
You know, it's interesting because Scott Pollard, who's going to be on the show here in about an hour, put out a social media message, and I was unaware of Scott's friendship or relationship, whatever, how long he's known Gary Woodland. We'll find out at 5. I've never talked to Scott about this, but they both went to Kansas, and Scott made inference that he knows Gary and what Scott went through a little more than 2 years ago and dealing with his own emotions and a different set of emotions, but life and death, which is what Gary Woodland had to go through with his brain surgery. When you go into surgery, you're not really sure if you're coming out or not, especially when you're dealing with a heart transplant. And so they have obviously a common bond in that life or death situation that they both faced. This is pretty remarkable, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what Scott has to say about Gary Woodland coming up at 5 o'clock plus the NCAA tournament.
Gary Woodland was a really good basketball player in high school in Kansas. So Scott's dialed into everything Kansas basketball. So maybe that's where that connection is at.
Hey, by the way, speaking about Scott Pollard, how great is it for Peja Stojakovic and his family to experience what they just did this past weekend? I mean, that's great, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And all the other parents out there who get a chance to see their sons or daughters excel in the Sweet 16, and then you get down to the 8, and then you're going to the Final Four. What a dream. I can't even imagine. How great is that?
Okay, it's amazing. But let me ask you this question. Because of the state of college basketball and college sports in general, I should say, does it take any of the purity out of that?
Yes, sure it does. But is anybody talking about that today?
No.
Is anybody saying, gee, you know what? This player wasn't on this team last year. He wasn't on this team last year. He wasn't on this team last year. At the end of the day, what do we want? We want entertainment, correct?
Yeah.
We want great moments. We want great sport. You used the word purity, and that's why I quickly said no. But in the essence of why we watch sport, and that's to be entertained, how many games did you watch in the past 10 years that you would say were better than the game you watched yesterday with Duke and UConn?
Oh, not many. Not many.
Okay, so there you have it. And we don't really care who was on the team last year or whether they came from this university or whether they're in their transfer portal or whether they are getting paid $1 million or $10 million. Like we don't really care at this point.
No, and the reason I ask that is because you can have a process that you don't like, but that doesn't mean that process can't create a beautiful product that is remembered in an experience, good or bad, that can be remembered forever. I mean, you can never have that taken away from you going to the
You look at
Final
Andre
Four.
Stojakovic. He was at Stanford his first year.
Yeah.
He was at Cal last year, and he's at Illinois this year. Is he going to be somewhere else next year? No, I mean, seriously, that's the type of world that we're living in. Do I knock him for that? No, I don't knock him for that. He's within the rules and doing what is best for him. I don't have a well, I shouldn't say I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with what he did. I have a problem with the fact that you are allowed to do that. I don't have a problem with him playing within the rules and doing what's best for him. I have a problem with the system. The system is what I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with those that are using the system to their advantage. Not at all. It's the system I have an issue with.
I guess that kind of goes back to Friday's conversation about Barry Bonds.
In what way?
The system, right? The system allowed it for a while with him. And then, we all have our beliefs of what Barry was doing, but he was never caught, right?
Listen, I'm not even going to get into this. I think it's very apparent Barry Bonds has lied and lied and lied and lied and lied and did for a long time. And along with the others, it is what it is. Will they ever be in the Hall of Fame? We had Marcos Bertone on from the Sacramento Bee 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he's had a vote every year for the Hall of Fame. And it doesn't seem like that is going to happen. And so what is a baseball Hall of Fame without a player that many argue or debate is the best player of all time, or clearly one of the best players of all time? Even if you don't think he's the best player of all time, you can't really have a conversation and not include his name, correct?
Correct. You can't have a Hall of Fame where you are selectively choosing who goes in during a time period. You can't act like that time period didn't exist. And so for me, it's not a Barry Bonds argument. It's a time period argument.
Okay.
For all of the players that were in that era. It just was what it was.
Yep. And guess what? The commissioner, Bud Selig, sat back in his booth at stadiums and watched baseball become so popular because of Sosa, McGuire, and Bonds, and the attention that baseball was getting was at a heightened level. Bud Selig knew what was going on and allowed it to go on. Plain and simple.
So, okay, that is so interesting that you bring that up. Are we starting in under different contexts, but has Adam Silver kind of done the same when it comes to the stars that are getting ready to exit stage right? Basketball was so popular, things were going well. He sat back, looked the other way, and now the game's wrecked.
I think Adam Silver is guilty of a lot of things that are unbecoming of a commissioner. I'll say it that way. I think his actions as a commissioner have followed the path of the Roger Goodells of the world, where the only thing that matters anymore is how much money are you making for the owners. Doesn't matter about ethics, doesn't matter about politically, it doesn't matter. What I mean about that, all that matters is that you bow down to everyone else, no matter what the situation is, to make the almighty dollar. And if you're making the almighty dollar, such as the NBA, doing business in other parts of the world that go against why Jaden Ivey was fired today from his job with the Chicago Bulls, let's just call it the way it is, okay? Let's just call it the way it is. If you want to really get right down to it, he went off on Pride Month and the LGBT community, okay? And he went off on his own personal opinion of all of this. And it seemed to come from a religious background. Would you agree or disagree on that?
Yes.
Okay. What he believes in. I'm not going to condemn him and say it's wrong or right. I'm not even going to go there. What I'm going to say is the league that made him unemployed today is the same league that has no issues at all going over and promoting their sport in an area of the world where they don't celebrate Pride Month, where that community is not only accepted, not only not accepted, it's frowned upon with legal ramifications. And I hate to say this, unfortunate situations of death that have been documented. So where are we at? Where are we at? Somebody has a religious belief as it pertains to a certain lifestyle, no longer has a job, but the league that made him unemployed is going to go continue to play games in an area, in a region of the world? You've seen all the corporations during Pride Month. They put on their social media accounts the rainbow colors, right?
Yeah.
In the United States. They do business over in the United Arab Emirates. When you go onto their website in the UAE, do you see the Pride colors on there? No, you don't. Do you see them promoting Pride Month? No. You just see the regular header on their social media accounts. If you're in the UAE, I'm telling you right now, and you Google a company and or whatever, you look it up in the United States during Pride Month, you see all the colors. You don't see that in the UAE and other parts of the world. It's just the truth. But the NBA, where are you with all of this? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's a joke. It's just a double standard. It's everything's hypocritical. It's unfortunate. And again, I'm not even going to what Ivy said, whether you agree or disagree. That's for you to decide. That's not for Grant Napear to decide. You believe what you want to believe in. I believe what I want to believe in. I'm only pointing out the hypocrisy of all of this.
Right. And a lot of this stuff surrounds things that should never come in contact with sport. Correct?
Correct.
Sport is supposed to be sport, unfortunately. Yes. And now even let's throw in gambling. And it's not just Adam Silver that is on that train. It is Roger Goodell. Baseball just had their first partnership at the start of the season. Rob Manfred probably bowed down to the dollar. So that's just another example of all these different worlds that you never thought would lead to the same thing are now leading there.
Again, you can talk about your beliefs as a league and how you want to conduct yourself as a league. Actions speak louder than words, okay? You can't pull your all-star game out of Charlotte, North Carolina in defense of a bathroom bill that you feel is discriminatory and then go play basketball in Abu Dhabi, okay? It doesn't add up.
Well,
plain and simple.
Okay, what you have is your with ethics and integrity, there should be no tolerance, right? It just is what it is.
Yes.
But you have a shifting ethical scale based on where the pulse of the world is at any given time.
Well, to me, hate is
right?
hate. Hate is hate, and that doesn't really change with the pulse of the world, in my opinion. Hate is hate, and I don't think that ever changes. I think Mitch Albom said it best, and I've always quoted him after the Deshaun Jackson incident of anti-Semitic comments in 2020. And basically what he said was, we cannot turn our head when it comes to hate, and hate is hate. Hate's not okay against this group.
Right.
But it's okay against this group.
Right.
And hate is hate, and it's wrong.
Right.
So, again, I'm trying to keep this to sports, and so are you. And we're talking about Jaden Ivey, and we're talking about the NBA. And I'm sorry, they're a hypocritical league. Plain and simple, they're a hypocritical league. I'm sorry, but that's where they are. And I put a lot of it on the shoulders of Adam Silver, but I also acknowledge that we are in an era, and maybe we've always been in an era, where the only thing that matters is the money and the almighty dollar.
Seems like it's never been more important, and we're in an era where they're swimming in it. That's what's so like.
Yeah,
I get it. I've been around some people that are very wealthy, and there's a reason they're wealthy. They respect the heck out of money.
Yes.
But at the same time, you are swimming in it. Like you're going to the extremes to scratch out every last penny that the government's no longer making, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. We'll talk more about this and other topics, but what a story for Gary Woodland winning the Houston Open. 916-779-0929. Grant Napear, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
We are the
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Get the best. Bridgestone tires are engineered to keep your world moving, and that's what really matters. Now through March 31st, buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires and get $80 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. For the best selection in Bridgestone tires, get to Express Tires at 7215 Watt Avenue in Sacramento. Express Tires. Save big and get their 60-minute install guarantee. Get to Express Tires at 7215 Watt Avenue now. Express Tires.
March Madness is in full swing, so why not capture some March magic with me, Rhino, on America's #1 daily fantasy site, Prize Picks. It's simple. No salary caps, no revolving lineups. All you do is pick 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their stat lines and let them win the night for you. You can choose from Sweet 16 basketball action, opening day home runs. In fact, Prize Picks has over 100 different sports to pick from. Also, if your lineup gets off to a hot start, they're offering early payouts. Download the Prize Picks app today using the code Rhino50 to get $50 in free lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Rhino, RYNO 50 to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Join my community. Find your community. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
916-779-0929. Let's get to Bill in Citrus Heights. Bill, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, Grant. Really enjoyed your conversation with Rhino for the last 10, 15 minutes. Very interesting.
Thank you.
I won't delve into that, but earlier you were talking about Boozer and his interview at post game.
Yep.
He turned himself into the player I want for the Kings.
Okay, and how?
Dignity.
Yep.
Well, dignity, responsibility, grace under stress. I appreciate the way he acted.
But
And
you're
I
going to
think
appreciate whether he's a good player or not. That will be first and foremost, because this is a franchise that needs a player that is going to excel on the court, not just talk a good game.
I take Scott Pollard's word on that.
Okay, well, he's coming on at 5 o'clock to talk more about this.
I think Scott Pollard named him as the best player out of the
He said that
upcoming
he
draft.
feels that he would be well, I'll let Scott come on and talk about it again at 5. It was basically you would know what you're going to get every night from him. He may not be the best player in the draft, but he's going to be the steadiest player and blah, blah, blah. We'll let Scott reiterate what he had to say a month or so ago at 5 o'clock.
Okay,
put
well, I
words in his
appreciate it. I
mouth.
look forward to I look forward to what he has to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Rhino, I want to have you come in and join me on this. What is your take on Boozer after watching him play this year, and particularly in the last 4 games of the tournament?
I think he's going to have a solid pro career. I think he's somebody that can contribute, but I don't see the star in him whatsoever. He's undersized for that position. If you want to be frank about it, he's a little heavy-footed to me. He's slower than a Domantas Sabonis. He's slower than a Sengun, not nearly as talented as them. I worry about where he fits in because he, to me, is not a guy.
Can I stop you for a minute?
Sure.
Not as talented. Do we know how Sengun and Sabonis were as a teenager?
It's a good question.
I mean, I would say he's not as talented right now. Yeah, but I mean, he shouldn't be as talented right now. He's still in college.
Correct, but I'm just talking about skill sets. He's just there's a slowness to the game that worries me when it comes to today's NBA. Tremendously. I mean, you can post him under the hoop, he'll get rebounds. I just don't see him as a star of a franchise. Unfortunately, great kid, awesome pedigree, professional as heck, but I have a lot of worry about him.
All right, I'll talk to Scott about that coming up. I mean, because most that cover the game, and by the way, people are wrong all the time. Marvin Bagley was being talked about in the same sense, different style of player. Thomas Robinson, when he came to Sacramento, was being talked about in the same sense. Scott came on and refuted that Thomas Robinson, said he won't be able to play in the NBA, doesn't have a position, doesn't do this, doesn't do that. But most, and again, I'm going to go back to the people that do this for a living, that follow college players. When Thomas Robinson and Marvin Bagley were drafted by Sacramento, most gave the Kings a grade of an A and an A+ for their draft picks, right?
Yeah.
Now, there were those that said the Kings were crazy for not taking Luka Doncic, but they still gave Bagley a good grade. When Thomas Robinson was drafted, he got A's and A+. I still look at them on a fairly regular basis to refresh my memory.
Very
he was
true.
a bust. I mean, at least Marvin Bagley's still in the league. Thomas Robinson ended up being a flat-out bust.
Yeah, he did. And I don't think Cam Boozer is going to be a bust whatsoever,
No.
I just don't see the same ceiling when it comes to an A-Cuff. And although I would not take him, a Peterson. And
Why wouldn't you not take A-Cuff?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say Peterson. I would not take. I would take A-Cuff. I just don't see that same ceiling. And again, he just feels heavy-footed to me. And I don't know that that's something that you can necessarily change. Jerry Reynolds has brought that up about Max Reynaud. And so if I saw a guy that was distributing the ball in the hub of the offense right now in the college game, okay, but, watching his moves getting to the rim, he's never going to have a chance to get to the rim in the NBA.
Scott Pollard on X, after I promoted that he's coming on the show today at 5 o'clock, said this: I'm going to say some more stuff that might not be what you want to hear. Tune in.
Love it.
The one and only Scott Pollard, right? And by the way, I'm going to have Olden Polonies, as usual, on the show.
Perfect timing.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Right? At 4 o'clock. Now, one thing I love about OP, and we talk about ramifications for what you say and what you don't say, right? In this society that we live in. Olden Polonies put out on social media today, okay? I am an ally of LGBTQ, but I don't understand the Chicago Bulls waving Jaden Ivey over his statement calling out the NBA celebrating Pride Month, in quotation marks, unrighteousness. I'll talk to OP about this Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Never one to be shy of an opinion. Olden Polonies. He put that out on social media.
We're lucky to have him.
Yeah, we are very lucky. I love people that are not afraid to speak how they feel. Charles Barkley, right? Who's one of the most well-known public figures in America.
Yep. I think we got in early on the OP stock. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I think he's the most entertaining, and I don't mean this in a slight to any of my other. Well, Sean Salisbury's right up there, but I mean, OP is just fun, great. Well, I think Sean Salisbury is the same way. If we had media personalities or former athletes, they are both. They are both. Don't be repetitive, Grant, but they both are both of those things.
Yes, they are.
They might be in the finals on our bracket. By the way, I didn't even I got a notification that I'm in first place in our bracket pool.
How about that?
Not only that I'm in like the 94th percentile nationwide. Look it up for me. I want to make sure I'm not misreading that stuff. All right.
The 94th percentile?
I want to say that I'm like really highly ranked after everything. And I don't understand what all the rankings mean and everything, but I was like, wow, okay. So I wanted to make sure you're into the numbers I didn't even know it. I had to have it emailed to me, and I popped on my email to see where I was at, and it said I'm first. And then I looked at all these other rankings. So once you get the information, you can let me know, and I can brag for 30 seconds before I get destroyed in the Final Four. All right. Said OP, Scott, Sean, all awesome guests. Thank you. I love to be that person for you where you can sit back and enjoy conversations that we have with my guests. So I'm very happy to do that. Very happy to do that. Said, Grant, it seems like Adam Silver gives in to the players for better or worse more than the other commissioners of the NFL, the NHL, and MLB. I don't disagree with that. I do not disagree with that. All right, 916-779-0929. And one of my favorites is joining us right now from Sacramento, Anita. Anita, it's good to hear your voice again. How are you?
Doing awesome, Grant, Ryan. Good to have a little convo with you guys.
Yes. What can we do for you?
Yeah. Well, Rhino was talking about Boozer. I've been listening to the show mostly all afternoon, some really good conversations, but really quick on Boozer. I'm kind of in that Pollard camp. If he's still in that camp, we'll find out when he comes in. But I started watching college basketball much earlier than I normally do. So right around the beginning of the year, I started checking it out. I kept hearing about this deep draft. I said, well, let me go see for myself. Didn't want to take everybody else's word. Let me go see and watch. So with Boozer, I really think it depends on where the teams are drafting. That has a lot to do with maybe who I think they should take. But if they're at number 3, I'm definitely taking Boozer if he's available. I really like the kid for some of the reasons that the previous caller said, but not just because of the character of the kid, but watching him play, watching him go about I watched a lot of games, a lot of different players. And not only that, I think the Kings, they have 2 second-round picks, depending on what happens with trades and whatnot. So there are some second-round guys who in a normal draft just wasn't so deep, might go in the first round, who are going to fall to the second round. So you might be able to get a Zuby Ejiofor, JT Toppin, so there are some guys. I even like Monstilovich. That guy is just, he's bombing away from 50%. So just depending on what the Kings are wanting, how they're looking at matchups. And then we don't know what's going to happen with the vets. So that all plays into it too. So there's a lot that we have to look at there. But I do like Boozer. And you just don't know. But I don't think he's going to be a bust. It may not be that, athletic guy is going to give you the highlight dunk. We can go out and get a guy if that's what people want to see for the excitement, because I like those dunks. I like watching Caleb Wilson and Devonta just go up there and just run from the top of the key and just dunk that thing. It's exciting. But I like Boozer too. So it's a tough one.
Very well said. I would just echo your sentiments, but add one little caveat to that. I don't think it matters where the Kings are selecting in the draft. They need to take who they think is the very best player. And Scott Perry, I got to give him credit. I mean, last year he got a diamond in the rough with Max Reynaud at 42nd overall. And if the draft were held all over again, he'd clearly be a lottery pick. And I don't think there's any doubt he'd be a top 10 pick if the draft were held all over again. So whether you're 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, in my opinion, the Sacramento Kings need to draft the best player on their board, regardless of position. That's how I think they should go about this draft.
Yeah, and I defer to you and to the people making that decision because I think they're going to do a much better job than I could. But just excited for all these guys. Like you said, watching Peja's son, Andre, he was on my nephew's AAU team. So I was watching it back when he was in 7th grade, 8th grade.
That's great.
Going into high school and just, watching that growth and what he was able to do in that game. I like his game. If he ever learned to shoot even a little like his dad, he would be a player. Don't just say to get him in the gym.
I love it. Anita, it's so great to hear from you. I hope that life is well, and call me again soon. Thank you very much.
Okay, you got it. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Love Anita. What a great lady. Ryan, did you look up the numbers for me? Am I doing okay in the bracket or what?
So judging by the way that ESPN is doing this and common sense, because everybody below you has a lower percentile, yes, you are, if you want to say, in the top 95 percentile.
Wow.
Which means you're like a 95, you're a solid A picker right now.
Wow.
Or you could also say that you are in.
Okay.
You're
All right,
killing
go ahead.
me. I was going to say, you are in the 5.5, 5.6% pile of people that have picked the tournament the most accurately.
Oh, okay.
So, there you go. Either way,
well,
you're gonna get
which sounds better that I can go with?
Probably
what would you
the first one.
What,
I'd go
the first one.
Solid A. Solid A. Can't go wrong with that. Just like
Okay.
Anita, she's a solid A
Yeah,
as
okay.
well. Hey,
All
really
right.
quick though, before we go to break, I think it's interesting because Anita kind of hit on something that I said. He's not going to be that above the rim guy. And look at the guys that Scott Perry really likes when he's talked about Dylan Cardwell and athleticism. I wonder out of what lens he will be evaluating some of these draft picks.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. All right, don't forget, Scott Pollard is coming up in about 25 minutes right after Grant's Rant. You can call the show at 916-779-0929. Someone said Jaden Ivey is a free agent next year, and apparently the Bulls decided that they didn't want to bid for his services. No, they have waived him. He is a free agent. That is correct.
Just because you get waived doesn't mean you don't get paid. He's still going to get paid unless they're able to, or his number goes against the cap. So they would have to have his contract. He would have had to breach his contract for them to not pay him.
With the NBA being as woke as they are and as politically correct as they are, I think Jaden Ivey will be blackballed from the NBA, and I'll make that comment right now. That's what I think will happen. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong. We'll be right back. 916-779-0929. Grant Napear. Busy Monday on Fox Sports, Sacramento.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
This is Kurt Bagelman. Does your business need more customers? If you said no, congratulations. If you said yes, then you need to consider advertising your products and services. People need to know you exist, and then why your business is worth considering to spend their money with. You also need to advertise to the right audience. For example, Sports Talk listeners have disposable income. They own homes, they're employed, and they earn six-figure incomes. And importantly, Sports Talk listeners listen longer, so your advertising message has more opportunity to be heard. Does your business need more customers? If the answer is yes, then give me a call to schedule a conversation. We'll discuss your objectives, talk about potential strategies, and also determine if Fox Sports Radio is a good station for you to consider. Call me, 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
If you love the game of golf and you want to get better at playing the game, your journey to golfing excellence starts by visiting par18golf.com. Par 18 Golf is a cutting-edge golf performance and training center located inside the historic Nimbus Winery in Rancho Cordova. Par 18 Golf trains with TrackMan Performance Systems, the very same system that PGA tournament professionals use to perfect their game. TrackMan indoor practice bays utilize Doppler radar and high-speed cameras that capture every motion and tiny aspect of your swing, from your posture and stance to the angle and trajectory of the ball and its distance and speed. Whether you're sharpening your short game, dialing in driver distance, or preparing for a summer tournament, visit par18golf.com. Book your first visit and get ready to train like PGA pros. You'll play smarter, perform better, and compete with an entirely new level of confidence. Go to par18golf.com and see the future of golf performance.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
So another story that's kind of been lost with the excitement from March Madness is the NFL and the plans of going forward with replacement officials. And there's a lot more to this story, but Mike Pereira, who is just so awesome with the NFL on Fox, a former head of the officials, a former official himself, is going to come on with me tomorrow at 4:00. All right. So we're going to have Mike on tomorrow at 4:00 to talk about what this all means and what he thinks is going on behind the scenes as it relates to the NFL officials. But they are planning, the NFL, to move forward with new officials. And it's a pretty dicey situation. It's all part of negotiating, I guess, but that's where we are at. Mike Pereira tomorrow at 4:00. Sean Salisbury at 5:00. Wednesday, Olden Polonies, trying to nail down Steve Sachs this week to talk about the A's as they have their home opener on Friday against Houston. They are in Atlanta to start a series, and they are looking for their first win as they got swept up in Toronto. They got 50 strikeouts. 50. And they're off to a bad start already with Atlanta. I'm looking at this score here. I'm not watching the game currently. Atlanta's already scored 3 runs and lead 3-0. Man.
There's been a lot of bizarre things happening this weekend, tucked into some really, really good stuff and entertaining things. 12 tons of Kit Kats were stolen, apparently.
Whoa. Tons as T is in tons. Yes, 12 tons.
Yes. And
You know how many, can you imagine what that would look like visually if somebody pulled up to your yard and dropped off 12 tons of Kit Kats? Now just think about the visual, what that might look like.
Yes, it would be a lot of
Your
Kit
son
Kats.
would be very happy.
He would be a happy kid.
But I want you to just think about what 12 tons of Kit Kats may look like.
I mean, you could probably build a Kit Kat G1C model out of it. Probably build all the Doco with Kit Kats.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, here's another bizarre thing. Why don't we take a listen to Doug Christie's entire pregame press conference for the last game?
Sure.
Okay. Great. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Get good. All right. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Bizarre, right?
By the way, I'm glad you played that because I made a mistake today. I did a rant on this that I put out every morning on my podcast platform, and I thought that was his post-game press conference. So I aired there. That was pregame, but nobody had any questions for him, and he's like, "Thank you very much. I'm out of here."
And it's interesting that you bring up the post-game press conference because apparently Patrick in New York sounds like he made his way into the Barclays Center to ask DC a question.
And speaking of the opportunity, Maxine, Meek, Devin Carter, how do you evaluate what they're giving late in the season with this opportunity?
Watching them and having done what they did, it's impressive because they continue to come out and compete at a high level. As young players, they are getting invaluable opportunities that they can leverage in the summertime to understand why it's important to strength train, why it's important to make sure that your condition is high, why it's important to make sure that your flexibility is at a high point, on top of the fact of sharpening all your tools so that you come back with a greater sense of ability on the floor when you get put in super situations.
Have you confirmed whether Patrick was credentialed for the game in Brooklyn?
I'm still working on it. I
Okay.
am, but that sure as heck sounded like Patrick to me.
The accent wasn't as thick.
Are you?
Patrick's New York accent is just like vintage New York accent.
Hold on. Let's go to replay.
And speaking of the opportunity, Maxine, Meek, Devin Carter, how do you evaluate what they're giving late in the season?
Patrick's much more deep than that.
But
Patrick's accent is like born and raised New York down to the core.
But Grant, maybe the acoustics were bad in the room. Maybe he didn't have the microphone right next to his mouth. He doesn't always work with a microphone. He works with the mail. Yeah. So just saying. Yeah. Have you seen the responses of some of these other companies having fun with Kit Kat? Domino's?
No, enlighten me, would you please?
Yeah, Domino's put a official post out saying that they were sorry to hear about that, and they are now going to be offering Kit Kat pizzas going forward. Other companies have hopped on, and luckily Kit Kat has played it cool with everybody and had fun reposting some of these.
What would a Kit Kat pizza look like?
I probably would rather have a Kit Kat pizza than a pizza with sardines on it.
Oh yeah, me too.
Or
100%.
anchovies.
You know what? You and I are speaking the same language.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Did you know that in the Midwest there's something called Snickers salad?
Keep going.
Yeah, it's called Snickers salad. It's a candy bar salad.
That's ridiculous. Seriously.
Let me get you the ingredients.
Oh, you know
really
what?
quick.
Thank you. That's what I need in my life.
Snickers.
A candy bar salad. Gee, thank you.
It
That'd
comes,
be really good for my current health kick.
Yeah, it comes with a side of Ozempic, but
oh, really? What is wrong with this world?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's see what a Snickers salad has. Okay, Granny Smith apples, Snicker bars, instant vanilla pudding, whole milk, Cool Whip, and caramel sauce.
Okay. Wow.
So somebody's going to be making a new Kit Kat salad.
Wow.
I mean, what do you do with 12 tons of Kit Kats, Grant?
That's a very, very, very good point. 916-779-0929. Grant's Rant coming up in a couple of moments. And then Scott Pollard after that to talk NCAA and talk Gary Woodland. All right. Very happy about that. I estimated the number of Kit Kat bars to be 2,040,000 that were stolen based on the weight. I'm very happy that you figured that out. I would not have any idea how you would even come up with that number, but thank you for your help. All right. Said not a fan of the salad segment. Then go listen to someone else. 916-779-0929. Again, Grant's Rant coming up at 5 o'clock. Scott Pollard right after that. The A's are in Atlanta opening up a set. They are trailing by the score of 3-0. What about the Giants after their 3 games with the Yankees? Again, I don't want to go crazy here, okay? But Tony Vitello, the rookie manager, is already kind of getting some darts thrown at him. And this is a very important series coming up for Tony. And just the perception, the look of the Giants. And I'm well aware there's 159 games left, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form panicking if I'm a Giants fan. I'm just not. But if you have a bad series coming up against the Padres, and they lost 2 of 3 to start the season, I'm just wondering what the heat is going to be like in Tony's kitchen if they have a bad series coming up against San Diego. Because getting swept by the Yankees, and they're projected to be maybe the best team in the American League, is one thing. But now you're within your division, and we know how important these divisional games are. You're in San Diego to start a set tonight. And, if you are the Giants, wow, you better find a way to get on the board. And I think getting on the board in the first would be advantageous to just kind of calm things down if that's the way Tony feels in the clubhouse. You want to make sure that you get into the win column here very quickly just to kind of simmer things down a little bit. So I'm going to be looking forward to that Giants game tonight in San Diego, Ryan. I really am.
Yeah, must watch, at least the first couple innings. Wouldn't it be the hitting coach that would be first to go?
No, not at this early juncture. Not this early. I mean, I don't think you overreact until you're 40 games into the season of baseball.
Right.
Or 50. I mean, it's a 162-game season, right?
I'm 100% with you, but I thought you laid it out perfectly to begin the show that, he can't go up there, the coach, and hit for the guys. So I'd be looking if once they're going to make a move, if things don't go well, wouldn't you start there?
I wouldn't start anywhere right now. So you're asking me a hypothetical, and I can't answer that until we get down well into the season.
But I know how you love hypotheticals.
Yeah, that's me, Mr. Hypothetical, right? Yeah.
Hypothetically, if you had 12 tons of Kit Kats, what would you do with them?
Me?
Yes.
Sell them. I would sell them and make some money, a lot of money, and then I would retire. That would be worth a lot of money, would it not?
I mean, what did the texter say? Like $1 million or $2 million?
$2,040,000. What's a Kit Kat cost? I don't even know what size. Assuming they're the smallest ones, what's that cost?
Probably cost to a wholesaler is between 50 and 75 cents.
Okay, well, I'm going to sell you the stock that I have of Kit Kats at a very discounted price. I want one lump sum payment, and then you will be doing the show for the rest of the time that Fox Sports Sacramento is in business beginning tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Okay. Make sure you get that money in Bitcoin so it's not traceable. Don't want you to
By
end
the
up
way,
in the slammer, buddy.
For my bosses that are listening, I wouldn't do that. I'm not. That would be unethical, and I mean this in all seriousness. I could win the lottery this week, and I wouldn't call up and go, hey, I'm not on the air anymore. I would never do that. It's just not. Now, I know how it works the other direction, okay, where they don't let you go on when they decide they don't want you anymore. They don't even let you, do your last show. But I can't do that. It's not how I was raised. I wouldn't do that. I would give proper notice and move on that way. If that were ever to happen, I'm not the type, Ryan. It's not in my DNA to walk into my employer, even if I had a ton of wealth put into my lap and go, I'm out of here. Goodbye. I can't do that.
How many games did you miss in 32 years?
I missed one game in 31 years or 32 years.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. One game in 32 years. And because I couldn't get to Phoenix of all places, not because I called in sick. All right. Grant's Rant is coming up next, followed by Scott Pollard. That's with 1T. The third hour of the show. Going to be a fun one right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family-owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
There's a great American pastime that the entire family can enjoy together, located right outside of Sacramento. The Golden State Shooting Center welcomes you. The Golden State Shooting Center is an 80-acre clay target shooting facility. It's the home of numerous youth sport shooting teams from the region. Over 1,000 high school students from Northern California are on sports shooting teams, and 10 of the Western United States' top shooting teams train at Golden State Shooting Center. New members are being accepted now. For details, visit goldenstateshootingcenter.com.
Let's face it, happens every day. And when it does, the Accident Guys are here to help. Call us, the Accident Guys, 877-888-GUYS.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the Accident Guys.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Approved. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabroods or visit Gabroods.com. GUBRUDS.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. In college basketball, we've long treated brands like guarantees. Win a couple of titles, build a reputation, send some players to the NBA, and the rest is supposed to follow. But lately, college basketball hasn't exactly played out that way. History opens doors. It doesn't win games in March and April. Just look around. John Shire had arguably the most talented team in the sport. No titles to show for it. Hubert Davis couldn't sustain momentum at North Carolina. Jim Boeheim is long gone. Syracuse coming off back-to-back losing seasons. Since Rick Pitino and Jay Wright left Louisville and Villanova, they've been searching for relevance. That's what separates Dan Hurley. At UConn, the brand matters, but it's not just the engine. Hurley is. Because in this era, the name on the jersey might get you in the room, but the coach is who keeps you on top of the mountain. And right now, no one in the sport is maximizing both quite like Dan Hurley and UConn. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. A personal question. Have you ever wiped with a piece of dry, single-ply toilet paper and wondered, is this as good as it gets? Well, it's not. It's a whole lot better thanks to the wet, extra-large cleaning power of Dude Wipes. They comfortably clean up whatever toilet paper leaves behind. You can make the trade of the season, switch from toilet paper, and start experiencing the confident clean of Dude Wipes. Available at Amazon and at major retailers nationwide. Dude Wipes, best clean, pants down. 2 words, prostate exam.
Relax. Screening starts with a simple finger-free blood test. Around 1 in 8 men in the United States will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Prostate cancer can have over a 99% 5-year relative survival rate when caught at a localized or regional stage. If you're 40 or over and have a prostate, visit relaxitsabloodtest.com to see if a PSA blood test is right for you. Talk to your doctor about screening and the next steps. Sponsored by Novartis.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
Let me get this straight. The president of the Baltimore Ravens is Sashi Brown. And he said today that the decision to rescind Max Crosby, won't really affect the organization's reputation negatively. You know why? He said that the criticism is due to a slow news cycle. Here is an individual that is dealing with delusions, all right? His comment is delusional if he thinks that this trade will not affect the team's reputation. Of course it will. It already has. And it has nothing to do with a slow news cycle. The fact that you were already in contact with Tyler Hendrickson when Max Crosby was in your building, and the fact that your general manager, did not even see Max Crosby, all right, wasn't even there, tells me everything I need to know about your organization. So if you're the president of the Ravens and you're chalking up the criticism to a slow news cycle, you are delusional with a capital D. And you know what? Good for the Raiders, because they get Max Crosby still on their field. The guy is an iconic figure. He's one of the best defensive players in football. And for the Baltimore Ravens to blame their criticism on a slow news cycle is unfreaking believable. And that's my rant for today. The one and only Scott Pollard, that's Scott with 1 T, joining us right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. How are you, big boy?
You know what, GFN, I'm doing great, and Mrs. Pollard says so at the cap, and we're all missing you here.
I miss you too, my friend. Miss you big time. Can we talk about Gary Woodland first before we talk about basketball? Because I was very intrigued by your message that you put out on social media. I was not aware of the background that you had with Gary. Can you enlighten us with that a little bit, please?
You're going to make me cry a little bit if I go too far. But listen, he's a Jayhawk. We obviously we're very far apart in age. I'm 10 years older than he is, so it's not like we're in school together or anything. But we have met many, many times. Followed him for a few holes at the Waste Management Open many years ago out in Phoenix. Excuse me. And we've met his wife, Gabby, and, I think one of the older kids when they were little. It's been years since we've seen him, but, I mean, when you see him go through, like we knew he was going through what he was going through. I happen to be going through some stuff myself at the same time, so it wasn't like I was calling him going, hey, man, you got this, because I was needing the same kind of encouragement myself. But this dude, like, he won it in 2019, the PGA Tour Championship.
No, the U.S. Open.
Sorry, the U.S. Open. That's what I meant. And he falls off, and he doesn't know why. And they find this issue in his brain. He has brain surgery, and he comes back to that and just wins the tournament, and now he's playing in the Masters. Like, are you freaking kidding? That's a movie. And I don't know who's going to make it, but someone better, because that is just an incredible, unbelievable comeback story. And that's if he doesn't do well in the Masters, which who knows. But, I mean, just the fact that he's come back and won a major, I mean, even the rest of the golfers, everybody loves this man. Everybody. The Masters. The Masters is coming up. He just wins in Houston. Good for him. I'm very happy to hear that. You're right.
an incredible journey, an incredible story. Hey, you were on a couple of months ago, and we talked about college basketball. And now that we are to the Final Four, and I'm asking you for your general thoughts, and I know you can go in a lot of different directions. What has struck you the most about what we just watched this weekend or in the previous weekend with this tournament?
I will say this. March has not been the disappointment, right? The last second shots, the buzzer beaters. This tournament has been all of that. Whether you wanted that team to win or lose, the last second shots have been there. The mind numbing plays have been there. So the excitement has been, I think, great this year for the tournament. Now, again, I've been kind of out of it for a few years, so maybe it's always like that. But it seems like it's back to being at least extremely watchable every single game. I will say, though, that unfortunately I see too much of the NBA game leaking into college, which is inevitable. I coach fourth graders, and they're like out there trying to shoot threes. I'm like, hey, stop it, dummies. But
yeah.
When you see players make fundamentally unsound plays in college basketball, you're going, okay, why is this? Well, it's because of AAU. It's because they play 800 games in junior high and high school, and they never practice. They're concerned about one thing, and it's scoring, getting their own numbers. Now, there's always been that mentality among certain players, few players, usually some of the more talented ones. But when you're talking about everybody else on the court, you're talking about they know how to do everything at least a little bit. And you practice, make decisions where you're sitting there going, all right, we know what we're going to do here, and we're going to do this. And so, I don't want to call out the Boozer brother. It's not Cameron. It's his other brother. But I'm going to. I just said his name, so I kind of have to now. But, I mean, everybody knows, and he knows, he should have just held on to the ball. And he's shooting free throws and Duke wins. And he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life. But again, that goes back to what I said first about this tournament. The last second buzzer beaters, the teams that aren't supposed to win. And that's what makes this tournament the most exciting and also the most unfair. Because, pro sports, they do 7 games. Because typically when a 7-game series is played, the best team wins. That's not true in March Madness. It's never true. It's almost never true. You hardly ever get to the Final Four and the best team all season wins it. It does happen, but not all the time. And a lot of times you got to love that, the small teams still have a chance. I get it. NIL is changing things, but I love.
Couldn't we make an argument that the first player on Duke to get the inbounds pass should have just held on to the ball? They were going to foul him. I mean,
it's Cameron Boozer. You're one of the best players. In my opinion, he's the number 1 draft pick.
Yep. I know you. I want to talk to you about Boozer. Can I first of all go back to after the game? Maybe I'm, losing perspective, but I was so impressed with how he faced the music after the game. That just shows me a lot about his character, because we see professional athletes all the time blowing off the media after playoff losses. A.J. Brown with the Eagles, DJ Moore with the Bears. They just completely blow off the media. Here's a kid in college that just had the worst moment of his life and sat in front of his locker and answered every question. Your thoughts on that?
Well, here's why I think he's the number 1 draft pick. It's that.
Okay.
It's not that he's going to be a generational talent, but guess what? His dad was a double-double machine. And as much as it pains me to say this about a Duke guy, he's a high-character man. And he played in the NBA forever. And guess what? He has translated that character to his 2 boys, at least. And also, they exist because they saved a brother. They did an in vitro and created those 2 boys to help save their other sibling. Like, those boys know the only reason they exist is to save their brother's life, and they did that. So they have an incredible – this is a whole other movie, if you didn't know about the Boozer family, that is a magical story that is absolutely needs to be told, that they had to do in vitro. And I know there's people that are, in vitro, that's not God, fine. But they had a child with an issue, a birth issue.
Mm-hmm.
And they were told they needed exact matching DNA. So they did in vitro, and the result was the other two boys, and they were able to save their other brother's life. And he's alive because of these two guys. So that's the only reason they're there. They weren't planning on having the next two boys. They did because it saved their brother's life. So, again, it pains me to say this about a Duke guy, but what an incredible family. What an incredible life that they have led. And then on top of that perspective, yeah, there it is. It just shows. It just shows.
So if
yeah,
you had the number one pick in the
talent,
draft, if you were a general manager and you had the number one pick in the draft, you would take Boozer?
I got a high character guy that's a double machine. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Because you know what the NBA needs that. And the NBA just got rid of one guy. The Chicago Bulls just got rid of a guy that's a high character.
Jaden Ivey.
I don't know what that's about. Holy crap. I don't want to get into that one. But look, if I'm got the first pick, I'm sitting here going, okay, there's this kid that played half the season. We know who I'm talking about, DP at Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Incredible talent. But if he's injured that much, 6'4" ain't going to get him very far. Because he's not shooting over 6'7" and 6'8". If he's hampered. If he's full strength, great, but he hasn't proven to be full strength for even a full college season. So I don't know how you bet on that as an NBA team. Now, DeBonsa, that kid is ready. He's an NBA player. He's ready physically. I don't think he's a high character guy. I think he's a selfish guy. I don't think he wants to make anybody better. I think he wants to make himself better. And it didn't seem like he's much of a good teammate. I saw him in warm-ups a couple times on TV, and I was like, oh, boy, this guy doesn't care about his team at all. So, again,
I want to stop you right
Cameron,
there. Stop real quickly there, and we'll get into Cameron.
Yeah.
Stop, Kaden. I want to stop you there. You watch warm-ups, and you watch the game differently than I watch it. So you watch warm-ups. What are the things that you look for in warm-ups, and why is that a telltale sign to you?
Are you dressed like everybody else? Are you a team guy? Are you high-fiving teammates when they're warming up and you're shooting around together? Are you joking with them? Are you talking with them? Shooting it? You're out there warming up and you're all by yourself. You don't have a shirt on and you've got earbuds in and your teammates, everybody else is doing the same thing with the same clothes on and you're not. Guess what? You don't really care about your teammates.
Wow.
I saw that more than once from that kid. And high fives in the warm-up line. You're walking out, you're getting introduced, and he's just walking through. He didn't high five any of his teammates. One game I saw that. Again, if you love your teammates and you want everybody to be good, you are respecting every single person on that team. Now maybe he's like that, and I just didn't see it. But from what I've seen, I don't see a high character guy. I see a guy that seems very selfish on TV. I've never seen him in person, but he's an incredible talent. He's the best player. If you're going to go just strictly on talent, I take 6'7", 6'8", whatever he is, DeBonsa, over DP based on his size and talent.
How do you evaluate what you just said? How do you evaluate what you just said with a teenager that's immature? Like, how do you distinguish immaturity from what you're talking about, right? Because they can be two different things, correct, at that age, or no?
Well, we just talked about Cameron Boozer, didn't we?
Yeah. Great point.
His press, talking to the press, and being capable of.
Yeah.
Of
okay. Very fair.
Loss.
Very fair.
And,
so
and
let's
all
talk.
Of a sudden you've got a kid that are you going to mature? You're 18. You can get drafted. And as silly as that sounds, supposedly that's something that might be real again soon. I don't think so, but hey, whatever. I don't talk politics, but
okay. I mean, you know what though?
I'm
very happy that you say that because I love the way you look at players. No, you look at players differently than a lot of people do, and your track record when I've asked you these type of questions is really, really, really good. And so I appreciate what you're saying, and I think that you would be an asset to an organization based on how you look at things. I think you look at things differently, and I love the things that you come up with. But when we get back to Boozer, you think he is, barring an injury, which we can't forecast, you think he's going to be steady Eddie. You think that whatever organization he ends up with, he's going to be a real asset both on the floor and off the floor, correct?
He's like his dad. He's like Drew Gooden. He knows how to play basketball. He's going to give you 20 points and 10 rebounds without really even trying every game. And he's going to make your team better. And he's going to make your franchise look better because he's going to go do stuff in the community. And he's going to be nice to fans. And he's not going to get kicked out of bars and get in gunfights. and get stabbed or shoot a girl. You know, he's not going to throw his girlfriend down the stairs. That's a very realistic problem in pro sports, right? Doesn't everybody want to watch guys they idolize? Doesn't everybody want to watch a guy like Gary Woodland be successful and go, wow, I want to be like him. I want to be like Michael Jordan back then. You know, guy that you just knew he was going to come and play every day. That's few and far between now in the NBA. They're fighting for a 65-game season. They don't want to play anymore.
What about a style? Talk
And
to
so
me
I'm
more
sitting
about
here
a style. Talk to me more about a style where you think you can get 20 and 10. Boozer. Well, yeah, what is it about a style that you're convinced he's 20 and 10 getting up in the morning?
Because they score 120 points a game now in every college or every NBA game. I mean, there's so much room. There's so much room for a guy that knows how to play basketball. He's going to trip and fall into a double-double every day because he just knows how to play. He knows where to be. You give him the ball, he's going to shoot it. It's going in. He makes his free throws. He passes the ball. He's going to hang around the rim once in a while. Nobody does that in the NBA. Nobody. I would get 25 rebounds a game in the NBA. And I know people listening right now are like, whatever, you old bum. I get what you're saying, but trust me, I watched the NBA 5 seconds. So I go, would have had 5 rebounds in those 5 seconds because I hang around the basket and I know where the ball is going. Nobody does that. Nobody tracks the ball now. It just bounces off the 3-point line, bounces off the rim, outside the key. But if you hang around the rim, oh my goodness gracious, you're going to get 10 rebounds a game just by the ball falling to you and no one's around because no one does that. So there's that. The way he plays offense, he includes his teammates. He knows where to be. He's stupid cliche, but he's got a high basketball IQ. I hate saying that, but the dude he's a basketball player, and the NBA needs those. He's going to be an above average Nick Collison type role player that's going to be in the NBA forever because he knows how to play basketball. He's mature. He's going to make you look good, but he's not going to change your franchise. I admit that. He's not the guy that's going to be like, oh my Lord, he's going to drag us to 6 championships. He's not that guy. Mm-mm.
Is there a player like that in the draft, in your opinion? Is there a special player in this draft that you think could do that?
If Darren Peterson changes his approach to the game, stays healthy, gets a completely different work ethic, grows up a ton, gets the people out of his ears that are in his ears, and stays, and keeps working at 6'4", tough, but he
It's way too many ifs for me if I'm a general manager.
That's my point. It's like if. But yeah, he is special. He has the most effortless way of scoring that I've seen in a long time. It's effortless. The way he can just go boop, 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 boom, ball goes in. And it doesn't always look good. He's not always on balance. And he can work on those things and he can get better at those things so that it goes in every time. But it goes in most of the time, even when he makes little footwork mistakes that could be corrected. But playing half the games in a college season isn't, again, all the ifs.
No, I'm with you.
Devonta, I worry about his attitude. He's going to be unhealthy.
What about A-Cup of Arkansas? Have you seen him much?
Not a ton, but he's got FTs, man. Fat tendencies. Those dudes never last. They get hurt. He's big. I don't like his body.
How's your body, by the way? We haven't even asked you about your health. You doing good?
I'm fine. I'm yelling, right? I'm fine.
Your energy level is great. Right now. You couldn't talk like this 2 years ago. Your energy level's through the roof, man. I'm loving this.
You're correct. And it's not always like this, but today's a good day, so I'll take it. I'm fine. I'm fine. I got no complaints. My wife is incredible. She's the number one realtor in the world, and she's the number one wife in the world. That is also true. She is the number one wife in the world. She saved my life. I've told you this before, and I've told your audience this before. She saved my life. I'm only here because of her. So, now I'm just like, every time she gets upset with me, I'm like, well, you didn't have to save my life. You messed up.
Oh my gosh. She's like a cat has 9 lives. She has just infinite number of lives with you, right? She can do whatever she wants. She's good for the rest of her life.
Yep.
Oh, man. I love that. That's great stuff. Hey, congratulations to your son who's over in Hawaii. going to be playing football for the Rainbows. That's quite a long commute from Indianapolis. How often will we be able to see your son play in Hawaii?
In Hawaii, we're hoping to make one game. It's not cheap to go from the East Coast, Indianapolis, from a small airport in Indianapolis to Honolulu. We found that out because when we went out there, they only flew two of us out, Ozzy and me, and it was economy. So we upgraded ourselves to Economy Plus, and it was still brutal, even on a 787 Dreamliner. Ozzy was across the aisle from me in Economy Plus, the extra, much like leg room, because upgrading to first class was like $4,000 per person. We're like, oh, we can't afford that. So we're sitting in Economy Plus, and our knees were touching across the aisle in a Dreamliner. It was 343, and our knees were touching. We had to move our legs so people could walk up and down the aisle.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my! And so not only that, but just maybe I'm immunocompromised. I mean, there's people just coughing all over the place, and it's not like you've got different air in first class, but there's less people.
Yeah, I understand.
And you board differently, and so there's typically not babies crying and coughing and infected, because babies are little germ factories. I've had 4 kids. I know it. I'm not knocking babies. It's just a fact. And we were surrounded, and I was lucky I didn't get sick on that trip. But Don and I upgraded on the way back to first class, and it was magical. It was very inexpensive because it was last minute and they were available. And so we did that, and then we started looking at flights to get out there for a game for 3 of us, because the 10-year-old's got to go with it.
Yeah, sure.
And we're gonna try to make one. But
that's great.
There's a mainland game that Northern Illinois just joined the conference, so that's right up the road. We're going to charter a bus for that one, because we got a bunch of people locally here in Indiana. To go with us. So we're hoping to see them live probably 3 or 4 times total, and the rest of the games are on TV. I'll set alarms and wake up for them.
We all enjoy watching our sons and daughters play. And the reason why I'm asking you this question is, playing in junior high and high school is one thing. When you get to this level, Division I sports, and, whether Ozzy plays this year, it will be more next year. Hopefully, it will be just an incredible experience for you, being a former athlete, being a former professional, and watching Peja and his son Andre this week. And that's got to be the coolest thing in the world, man. It's got to be nothing better than that.
I'm so happy for Peja. Andres used to play for Stanford. One of my friend Jared Haas, and college teammate Jared Haas was the head coach of Stanford, and then Jared got fired, so he traded
transferred.
Yep. And now he's in Illinois. Yeah. And I'm so happy for him. He had a great game last game, and then seeing them dap it up post game. Yeah, there's nothing like your kid doing, and I know you're proud of your boys.
Sure.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it when, as a parent, your kid potentially does you. Like, that's the best feeling in the world. Like, my son the other day, he goes, "Dad, there's flood victims and all this stuff. I'm gonna go help clean up the beach." And I was just like, I'm like teary-eyed about it. Like, this is not from there. And he's out there helping the team clean up the beach with locals, and I'm like, you know what? That's a good kid. And I'm not taking credit for it, but it's amazing to see.
A lot of girls hang out at the beach. You know that, right?
I've heard. I grew up in San Diego. I hear that. I hear that a lot.
Okay. I didn't know if that had anything to do with volunteering to help go to the beach. That's why I'm saying. I'm just asking, okay?
His girlfriend's here in Indiana. I don't know.
Well, she's not on the beach in Waikiki, okay? Stop. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Don't get me in trouble.
Yeah. No. All right. So here we are with the Final Four. Do you think Arizona's the best team?
I think Arizona is the best team, but Michigan's bigs. First of all, they're playing each other in the Final Four, right? Like, they're not in the championship.
Yep.
Like, it's Duke and Illinois.
Yeah.
I think that's the championship game. I think this one is whoever wins Michigan, Arizona is the national championship, because I don't think that Illinois or
and UConn.
UConn. Sorry, I don't think they can even compete. I think that those two. I think Michigan and Arizona are so much better than everybody else. They have bigs. They can score. They can play slow. They can guard you. They have length. everywhere on the court. I mean, Arizona's got big guards, they've got big men, and Michigan's big dude. Like, he was early on, I was like, he's not that good. I saw him play a couple times later on in the season, and man, that big boy can play. And so I'm sitting here like, I don't know who's going to win. I think Arizona's better, but Michigan sure is impressive. And I don't know that Arizona's going to have to play well to beat them. But I think that no matter who wins, the championship game is going to be boring because
all right.
Is there really anybody in the world that likes Danny Hurley?
I'm not going to comment on that.
It was a tough call.
I know. It is.
He's
All
playing
right, so
against Duke, and America is like, this is our choice.
Yeah. All right, final question, because this is the most important one. In addition to everything else, your wife is a phenomenal cook with a capital P, phenomenal cook. So if you could only have one more meal that your wife would make for you, what are you going to be requesting?
Geez, there's so many. And steak's too easy because she does amazing things with steak, but it's too easy. I'm going to go, she made some Thai chili spiced lamb chops one time that I would have paid $500 to sit down in a restaurant and eat those. Like, I was sitting there going, you literally, I told my wife, I was like, you really need to stop this because there's no topping. The Thai spiced, they were Thai chilies.
Okay.
She made a Thai sauce and threw on lamb chops and then cooked them up absolutely perfectly. And I don't even know if I could eat them that way anymore because this was before I was in heart failure and I could eat raw meat.
Sure.
And now I can't. Yeah, but
I know.
It was that would be if it was like, I'm on death row, or it was like, oh, Scott, guess what? Your heart's not going to work anymore. You're going to die. That would be what I would ask to eat for my final meal. It's the Thai chili spiced lamb chops that Mrs. Collard makes. She is an incredible chef. And by the way, that conversation isn't rare. Like, she made kale salad for lunch today. I was like, really, kale salad? And I sit down and it's immaculate. There's garbanzo beans and tomatoes and there's little cherries or something. I don't know. You're just
just perfect
in this kale salad. Yeah,
perfect.
I've never enjoyed a kale salad before today.
Perfect. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for joining me. Love you, man. Continue good health to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on, G. Bye.
Always. Scott Pollard, good stuff right here. 916-779-0929. We'll be back right after this.
We are Just outside of Sacramento is a place where families build friendships that last a lifetime. The Golden State Shooting Center is a clay target shooting facility. It's the home of numerous local high school and youth sport shooting teams. Skeet and trap shooting is a safe, exhilarating sport. School team members can compete for numerous college scholarship opportunities. Teams are being formed now, and new members are welcome. Call the Golden State Shooting Center for details or visit them online at goldenstateshootingcenter.com.
Get the best. Bridgestone tires are engineered to keep your world moving, and that's what really matters. Now through March 31st, buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires and get $80 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. For the best selection in Bridgestone tires, get to Expert Tires and Brakes at 5810 Auburn Boulevard. Expert Tires and Brakes. Save big and get their 60-minute install guarantee. Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard. That's Expert Tires and Brakes.
Jackson Rancheria. Let's go.
Jackson. Grab your old jeans and flick a lighter, because Jackson's gonna be rockin' with Journey Revisited, a tribute to Journey, live April 18th. Get tickets now at jackson.com.
Jackson Rancheria. Let's go.
While you're there, make sure to check out our full tribute series lineup honoring your favorite classic rockers, the Eagles, Lynyrd Skynyrd, CCR, and more. Let's go.
Let's go.
If that's not enough, we're giving away $1,000 in free slot play Tuesdays. Just play slots with your Dreamcatchers Club card, have a valid email address on file, and you'll be automatically entered to win 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Let's go.
Let's go. Luck out with cash and play at Jackson.
Jackson. Let's go.
just love talking to Scott. He is a piece of work. So happy for his new heart, his health. Doing very well. 916-779-0929. I like this one. Grant, I was actually off a bit on the number of Kit Kat bars because I overestimated the weight of an average bar, which is 1.5 ounces. So it's actually 4,080,000 bars. 4,080,000. Thank you for the clarification. You just doubled that. So I can't even imagine what that would look like if it was just delivered to your home. Here it is. We're going to dump it off in your yard. What would that look like? Well, first of all, you'd have to have a real big yard, I would think. I would think you'd have to have a real big yard. How about Scott's comments on Boozer, right, on Cam Boozer? And he just thinks he's going to be a guy that is going to be a huge, huge addition to whichever team drafts him. Good stuff from Scott Pollard. Good stuff. He's normally spot on with these things. Spot on. All right, let's update you on the baseball scores. The A's still looking for their first run. They are down 3-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Again, the Giants and San Diego with a 0-3 team against a 1-2 team. Everybody likes to get off to the good starts. Well, the Giants now with a divisional series, got to make sure you do not fall way behind here early in the season because you know the Dodgers, they have an all-star lineup, and they're probably not going to go through too many dry spells during the season. Busy night in the NBA. You'll be following the Washington Lakers game. Certainly can't imagine Washington winning that game. The standings, Cleveland is taking on Utah in Utah. So those are some of the games. You look at the standings right now. I don't even know really if we should get into the standings like I have. I know I do it because it's part of my job and everybody is looking at the standings. But with the way the lottery goes, yes, I'd rather have more odds than less odds. But does it really matter? Right now you look at the Kings. They have 57 losses. Indiana has 58 losses. Washington and Brooklyn have 57 losses. Utah's got 54. We're running out of games here, right?
Historically, you don't want to be dead last.
I know. And right now, that looks like Indiana. But then they go out and win a game like yesterday. Who go figure, right?
Yeah.
They beat Miami.
Look, I need to say sorry. Cliff in West Sacramento, if I came off a little bit harsh, he wanted you to know that he's hooked on baseball because of many of the poor statistics that you pointed out from the Oakland A's and San Francisco Giants over the last couple of days. I just told him it's hard to fit your take in with the way the show's going. Tell Grant yourself, but Cliff, we appreciate the call, buddy.
Thank you. 50 strikeouts in 3 games is too much. I don't really care what the scores of the game were. I don't care how many runs you scored. I don't care. And first of all, you lost all 3 games. That's the one thing that has turned me off about baseball is the ball is not in play enough. And that's been my biggest criticism about the Yankees. The A's struck out 50 times in 3 games, Ryan.
Grant,
you just can't have that.
Grant, do T-ballers strike out 50 times in 3 games?
No, I've never seen it. I'm not an expert in T-ball. I've only had 1 or 2 seasons of watching T-ball, and I don't recall that, quite frankly.
It's crazy. It's either baseball, it either gives you an A or it gives you an F, right? It can give you an A like in the World Series Game 7 or this weekend for the A's. And sometimes how the Yankees play gives you an F.
Yeah, I've watched Judge and Stanton strike out so many times in big games over and over and over again. And I just, you got to make the defense field. You got to put pressure on the defense. You've got to force them into making mistakes. If you put the ball in play, you got a chance to get on base. If you don't put the ball in play, you're not getting on base unless you get hit.
Well, you're taking out a big part of the game, right?
Yes.
Is that what analytics is ignoring? What can happen when you steal a base? How many times the pitcher will try to make that throw back to first base and cause an error and you get an extra base? You wonder about all those things.
Steve Sachs is going to join me coming up on Thursday, by the way, speaking about baseball, and we'll talk about the A's. That's their day off, and we'll get him on to talk about the first couple of games. He's got the game today and 2 more games before they head home for their home opener Friday against Houston. Let's hope they're not 0-6.
Yeah. I wonder if the whole shebang of the Netflix opening night just has thrown off the Giants. You play in a baseball game you play in a baseball game that feels like the Super Bowl, the way it's produced. You get a day off, and then you roll into the remaining games in the series with the Yankees. That's abnormal, unless you're in the playoffs.
How's it any different for the Yankees?
It's not.
So they played on the same field, right?
Yes, but
and they held the Giants to 1 run.
Do the Yankees have better players?
A handful. Okay, but I mean, I think here's what I think, and I don't mean this to slight you or anyone else. We too often look for excuses that have nothing to do with what happened between the lines. So let's just say you are right as it pertained to opening night. Let's just say, for sake of argument, you're 100% correct. You had a full day off. The next day, there was no baseball. And by the time you come back to the park 48 hours later, that should not be an issue. It should not, in any way, shape, or form, affect what's going on because you have a regular routine for that game.
Okay.
And the next game.
All right.
So so for opening night, I'll for the sake of this conversation, I'll agree with you. But after a day off, okay, and coming back to the ballpark 48 hours later, that's not an issue.
All right, fair enough. I you know better than I do because I'm not nearly as in tune with baseball. But if I go off of basketball players in, how important routine and habits are, but that reset, all right, you make a great point.
Okay, here's what they've always said about baseball. You're as good as your next day's starting pitcher. All right?
Okay.
Starting pitching is what dictates baseball and how games are going to go. Now, early in the season in particular, more so than later in the season, although with the new advent of the way baseball is played, your starting pitcher very rarely faces the lineup 3 times. All right? It's normally 2 times, maybe 2.5, and then you go to the bullpen unless you have an exceptional pitcher on the mound who you trust and you're not worried about whether they see a lineup 3 times or 5 times, they're going to get the job done. But normally at this time of the year, pitch counts aren't as high as they will be. But your next day is determined. That's why you see such fluctuation with a team that gets shut out one day and the next day scored 10 runs.
Interesting.
It's not like they just learned how to hit. It's about the opposing pitching. So the Yankees have a very deep pitching staff. The Giants pitching was fine in this series. The Giants pitching did not cost them the series. They only scored 1 run. You can't blame the Giants pitching. I mean, I know Logan Webb, you could say, gave up 5 runs in that first inning or second inning and gave up 7 before he was removed, 6 earned. Okay, you can say he didn't have a good outing, and I agree with you with that. Second and third games, the pitching was not the issue. Ryan, you can't score. It's impossible. It's impossible to win if you don't score a run. No matter what happens anywhere else, if you don't score a run, it's impossible to win a game.
Great point. What'd you say? 4 hits through 2 games?
They had 1 hit in the opener and 3 hits in the second game. And then in the third game, they left too many men on base. They hit in their multiple double plays. They just didn't get a big hit when they needed it. This is what it is. Final segment coming up on this busy Monday. Mike Pereira, the NFL on Fox, and Sean Salisbury tomorrow. Holden Polynice on Wednesday. Steve Sachs on Thursday, and some other little nuggets throughout the week for you right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
This is Kurt Bagelman. Does your business need more customers? If you said no, congratulations. If you said yes, then you need to consider advertising your products and services. People need to know you exist, and then why your business is worth considering to spend their money with. You also need to advertise to the right audience. For example, sports talk listeners have disposable income. They own homes, they're employed, and they earn 6-figure incomes. And importantly, sports talk listeners listen longer, so your advertising message has more opportunity to be heard. Does your business need more customers? If the answer is yes, then give me a call to schedule a conversation. We'll discuss your objectives, talk about potential strategies, and also determine if Fox Sports Radio is a good station for you to consider. Call me, 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Final segment right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. How's everybody doing? Always love being on Monday through Friday. Hope you enjoyed my conversation with Scott Pollard. We're going to say hello to Dorian right now at 916-779-0929. Hello, Dorian.
What's up, Grant? What's up, Rhino?
Hey, buddy.
It's always great to hear. It's always great to hear Scott, man. I'm happy that he's doing well. He's healthy, and it's always great to hear his perspective on basketball.
Amen. Amen.
And I'm excited to hear what OP's got to say. That's turned to one of my favorite segments, man. I just love his New York personality and just how direct he is. It's pretty cool to kind of hear his take and obviously he played for the Kings and he's a former NBA basketball player, but just kind of hear his thoughts about the game and everything.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks for listening every day. Appreciate your support.
Always, Grant. Grant, you were talking about Giants baseball. And Rhino mentioned about the kind of lag with the whole Netflix thing. I don't think that's the issue. I think the Giants historically they more as of most recently. I watch the Giants pretty regularly. I grew up a Giants fan. Barry Bonds was one of my childhood heroes, along with Steve Webb. But over the last 3-4 years, Grant, I mean the Giants' total batting average per the season is around the 230s, man, and that's like near the bottom of the league. I mean, how are you supposed to win if you're not scoring any runs? And they have a pretty solid lineup. I mean, I think Rafael Devers, has been pretty underwhelming. Jung Ho Lee has been, kind of hurt throughout the season. But I think, Willie Adames and Gilberto Ramos, and I think their pickup of Luis Arias is pretty good. Unfortunately, Matt Chapman, grounded to a double play there the other day against the Yankees. They had runners on second and first to possibly win the game. But yeah, I think just historically, the Giants have had a trouble kind of over the last 4 years. They just can't put the ball in play.
Yeah, well, that was the case this past weekend, but they did make some nice additions. I felt in the off season. I look at their lineup, and obviously, you need Devers to have a big year. I mean, he just has to.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
He has to. He can't have a year like he had last year, where he was invisible until he got. You can't wait on him. He's the guy. He has to have a really good year, and if that doesn't happen, it's going to affect the other batters around him in the lineup.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if he's batting cleanup, I mean, coming from Boston, there were people that were really excited to have him here, and I think there are people that still are to have him here in San Francisco. But he's just not putting the ball in play. And to your point, Grant, why do you think that the ball isn't being put in play as much anymore? Because I mean, 95% of the MLB, the league, these guys were the guy on their teams in high school, in college. Obviously they had to, bat at least 300 or above to be in the MLB. So, why do you think these guys aren't putting the ball in play?
I think the way the game's being taught, I've heard Will Clark talk about this with Eric Burns on their Unfiltered segments. We talk about the plane of the bat going through the ball, the way the hitting's being taught, the launch angles, everything else. It's a shame. I wonder, I don't know how much of a historian you are in baseball, but I wonder the Rod Caruso of the world, Don Mattingly's, you look at Tony Gwynn, I wonder what Ichiro, I wonder if these players were entering professional baseball right now, would they not want to be pursued and wanted by major league clubs because they're slap hitters? And yes, I'm aware that Mattingly and Gwynn could hit the ball out of the park, but the point is they were contact guys, right? They were going to hit to all fields. Rod Carew was going to hit to all fields. I mean, they were going to put the ball in play. They weren't going to really be power hitters, although Mattingly did have some years where because of the short porch in right field, he was, good with the home run total. But when I think of Don Mattingly, I think about a guy that hit the ball to all fields, who would get on base almost all the time. Tony Gwynn, the great hitters. I wonder what would happen if these players came into Major League Baseball or into the professional ranks now. Would they try to change them?
Yeah, you make a good point, because I mean, if you bat 300, you're pretty much an all-star offensively.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's really hard to do. I mean, for every 10 at bats, you're getting 3 hits.
Yeah.
And that's obviously that's pretty hard to do. That's one of the hardest things to do in baseball. Is they hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, right? But I guess Grant, you make a good point, because with Ichiro and that era of baseball, right, where you're hitting singles and doubles, I guess it's comparable to the NBA in the sense of how many mid-range shooters or all-around players like DeMar DeRozan of the league. There's far and few in between now, right? Everyone's shooting 3-point. They're shooting 3-pointers.
Well, think about it. DeMar DeRozan was available at the trade deadline. I think we all knew that, and nobody took him.
Yeah, nobody took him, right? And with MLB, you have Giancarlo Stanton, you have Aaron Judge. They're just swinging for the fences every pitch, it seems like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, instead of getting singles and doubles, right, you're trying to hit a home run, and then the NBA, you're shooting a 3-point instead of getting a 2-point mid-ranger like DeMar DeRozan. So, yeah, you make a good point, but I would agree, man. I really enjoy baseball. I played baseball growing up my whole life, and I want to see the ball put more into play, but I guess that comes at the expense of not hitting as many bombs.
Yeah, I don't want to blow this out of proportion with the Giants lineup. They went against a really good team that has really good pitching and one of the best pitchers in baseball, and Max Fried. So I don't want to blow this out of proportion. But I would say this, Dorian, with a new manager and the fact that their manager comes with, well, he doesn't have the big league experience. He came from college. This series coming up against San Diego, I know it's really early in the season. We're in baby steps now. But this is a really big series for Tony Vitello and the Giants to try to just, find themselves. If they have a bad 3 games here, oh boy. I mean, you're already hearing some of the talk coming out of the Bay Area about Tony and the manager and some of the things he said on Fox and some of the things he said in his post-game press conferences. The heat's already on, and we're only talking about 3 games for crying out loud.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, the Giants haven't won obviously since 2014. I mean, it's been over 10 years, and they haven't won the playoffs since 2021, and before that, I believe it was like 2016. So, it's been a while. I mean, the Giants haven't been, really, really that good consistently over these last few years. But yeah, I mean, it's always 3 games in. Obviously this series is San Diego Padres. We'll see what happens. But Grant, Ryan, always great to see. Great talking to you.
Well, here's the deal. Before I let you go, Dorian, when you think about this,
of course,
all right, you've got the 3 games against San Diego, and then you come home and take on a Mets team for 4 games and Philadelphia for 3 before you hit your big road trip of the year. And listen, the Dodgers probably aren't going to go through a real bad stretch this year. You better make sure you are left standing when you get on that airplane to start your road trip on the 9th of April. You better make sure that you're not buried. You don't want to get buried early in this division. The Dodgers are too good.
Dodgers. I mean, who else is better than the Dodgers this year?
Nobody.
With this lineup, with their salary, these guys are all all-stars on other teams. It's, I mean, I don't see anyone else being the Dodgers unless Shohei Ohtani is injured for a long period of time.
Yeah, I don't see it. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. All right, Grant.
Appreciate it. Take care, Dorian.
Always.
Somebody said, Grant, how deep into the MLB season can you gauge how good an MLB team is? I always like to go around the middle of June. I think once you get right around Father's Day in that area, the middle of June, that's the gauge that I use. A lot of people use June 1st. I like it to go a little bit further into June, but generally right around June 1st into the beginning of June, I think is a pretty good gauge on a team. You have to look at, what about injuries? What about your arms? Are you getting pitchers back? I'm looking at the Yankees right now, and I'm looking at how good their staff looks, and their bullpen is exceptional. If Garrett Cole, who is projected to come back shortly, is the Garrett Cole of old, with him and Max Fried, not even talking about Rondon. I mean, can you imagine? That team might be able to rival the Dodgers in a series if you got Max Fried and Garrett Cole both at the top of their games. They're both proven guys. Keep an eye on them. I'm not crazy still about some of their position players, but baseball's pitching. It always comes down to pitching. It always comes down to pitching. Always. And the teams with the best pitchers, they win. And when you're in the game of a must-win game, look at the Giants fans. What do you think the Giants would have been without Madison Bumgarner during that stretch? When you needed the big game, you gave him the ball, even out of the bullpen. He wasn't going to let you down. He was the guy. All right.
Grant,
Go ahead, Ryan.
You think of those pitchers more than almost anybody else that held a bat between Brian Wilson, Tim Lincecum, Bumgarner. You could just go down that list.
I mean, Lincecum, you look at, Mad Bomb, you look at the bullpen with
Cain.
Wilson, as you said. I mean, it all adds up to winning trophies, right? Look at the Giants starting the Dodgers starting pitching staff. I mean, it's unbelievable. In addition to their bats, I still think as good as the Yankees may be this year, and again, I'm not basing that on 3 games. I'm just basing it on their roster. I still don't think they would beat the Dodgers in a series if both teams were healthy. Because I don't have any confidence in Judge and Stanton. coming through in the clutch in the World Series. I just don't. I don't have confidence being a fan of that club. So, hey, I'm going to be on YouTube and X in about 65 minutes. I'm going to be doing my Open Forum Monday show. We have a lot to talk about coming up on the show in a little more than an hour. Tomorrow, right back at it with Mike Pereira, the NFL on Fox at 4, Sean Salisbury at 5. We will talk about everything that's going on, which is like a smorgasbord of sports. I mean, whether it's the NBA, whether it's college, whether it's the NHL and the final couple of weeks of the season. As we heard from Mac at the beginning of the show, the Knights with a huge decision to fire Stanley Cup winning Bruce Cassidy from 2 seasons ago. The veteran John Tortorella. Now, with that team, they've got a game tonight. We'll see how that transpires on the ice. The A's down 3-0. The Giants and the Padres tonight. We'll talk about it all tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And, of course, I'll be on with you in about an hour over on YouTube. My thanks to Scott Pollard. My thanks to Rhino in Sacktown. And most of all, my thanks to you for listening to the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye now.
Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival returns to Sacramento